Greetings and salvations. I'm Unthoth Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and you are listening to Eldritch Rants, the show that dares to ask the question: if you are burning your candle at both ends as well as periodically along its length, at what point does it officially become a menorah? The answer to this question and many more will be answered by our panel of experts, including Drew, who is the inventor of bagel holes, Gwendy Wook, who discovered Katanika, a holiday for Jewish ninjas, as well as the voice of one who was once forced to build a pyramid. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Any hole's a goal.
Well, it's hard to argue with that.
Wow, okay.
Anyway, we're just going to jump into the topics as usual. We got quite a bit today, so we'll probably be skipping along as quickly as possible. Farty is stuck somewhere in Sydney. My condolences to wherever he is currently incarcerated, probably for something that was drunken, brawl-like, and I undoubtedly involved
Wait,
a great
is he
deal of property.
actually incarcerated?
I'm
Like,
just speculating. I'm just
legitimately in
speculating.
jail? Okay.
Did he tell someone
Well,
he
I
was
mean-
armed again?
You know that I wouldn't put it past him.
But at any rate here, and by the way, today's stream is brought to you by Cookie Puss. Yes, Cookie Puss, the
What?
only ice cream cake that looks like some sort of demented, freaky thing that wants to eat your soul. I love Carvel Cookie Puss. Ah, I wish I had one right now.
It looks like some sort of sex toy that someone on the stream might use, and I won't say their name.
Yes, indeed.
You're excused.
At any
That's
rate,
okay. You
You're
can tell everyone it's me.
also excused.
at any rate, we're going to move on to right away to 3-year-old Israeli boy baffles doctors by learning English without ever having learned it. By speaking English without having learned it. Neil Mahmoud, a 3-year-old from an Arabic-speaking Druze family in the Golan Heights, has amazed doctors with his ability to speak English with a British accent without ever having been exposed to the foreign language. I'm kind of boggled by this, but, you know, I throw it out there as some sort of weird thing there. Spontaneous
I
English
think-
accents. It's cultural appropriation.
What?
I honestly think the one thing that I could say about this story is kidnapping. That's all I'm saying.
Actually, that is a
doesn't- no,
brilliant
that-
idea. Wow.
No, it's not, because if even if he was kidnapped as a baby, that wouldn't mean that he'd know English.
Well, he might have picked it up. He was a baby. It might entirely be false. It
Babies
could
don't
be-
pick this shit up. It's not how babies work.
It's how British babies work.
It's a British baby.
We
They,
have genetic memory.
they come
Okay,
right
aren't
out
you,
of the
like,
womb,
not
remember, to go pip, pip,
British?
tally ho, and all that sort of rot.
Yes. We come out wearing a Union Jack flag even.
He doesn't look very British to me, though. Well, wait a minute. You know, now I'm looking at the... It's hard to tell. He doesn't have bad teeth, so... Wait a minute. That can't be that can't be the right picture. That doesn't look like it's a 3-year-old. Unless it's if it's in Muslim years when they come over here, that's always like, yeah, I'm only 14. Guy looks like he's 28. Oh.
I mean, not fairness, 28 look like I'm 14, so
Gwendy, you're roboting again.
damn it.
Well, at any rate, anything from Drew before we move on?
I think he's eating.
Yeah, I have food.
I think that
You're
about
welcome.
sums it up. All right, 27 rabbits abandoned at Long Island train station at Ronkonkoma, New York. Officials at Long Island are offering a reward for information leading to the person or people responsible for dumping 27 rabbits at a Suffolk County train station. Did I ever tell you guys the story about Mr. Clint and my hometown who was raising rabbits?
No.
I'll sum it up for you real good here. Oh, hold on one second. Mr. Clint was this guy who came up with the idea that he was going to raise Angora rabbits. So he got some and he was raising them in his barn in my hometown that basically was a spit of a town. Maybe he had 1,000 people total for the entire area. And he thought he kept the male and female rabbits separate, but he didn't, so they started reproducing very quickly. And then he discovered you can't harvest the fur from the rabbits without killing them, which ran into some problems because his kids really love the rabbits.
Wait. He discovered that you couldn't harvest the fur without killing the rabbit. He didn't know that?
No, he did not. And so very quickly, the man had to manage to amass a total of close to 200 rabbits.
Oh my God.
Of which he was bringing in like a bag of rabbit food a day and just dumping it into the barn. And he didn't know what to do. And then one day he just decided to solve the problem by opening the barn doors. Do note that this was on Main Street of the town. So one day people are just driving along with a literal flood of 200 scared Angora rabbits flee across the streets and just scatter in the area. And because these rabbits had been somewhat starved, they were a little peckish. So bushes and shrubs for close to a mile were devastated by the plague of Angora bunnies that disappeared into the town of Eldritch. So,
those poor bunnies.
So this is what this reminded me of. Like, I don't understand how, the 27 rabbits showed up. But what is boggling me is that they're offering $3,500 a reward to find out who did this. Who cares? It's a bunch of bunnies.
Well, surely it shouldn't be too hard, because someone who owns 20-something rabbits would sort of stand out, to their neighbors.
Obviously, it's hard enough that they have to offer a reward.
It's Long Island. I mean, I've made deliveries there. It's not that big,
Maybe it was a radical, animal group freeing them from the clutches of something.
Actually, that probably makes more sense than somebody raising and abandoning 27 rabbits.
Ooh. Hey, wait. I realized something.
Shoot.
We haven't discussed the question of the day.
Oh, okay. What's the answer?
I don't know. You always have like the question,
Actually, if you want to know, the gimmick is I ask the question and we never actually get around to answering it ever. So I don't think we should start answering it now.
I know we don't have to answer it, but you always ask it, and you didn't ask it this time.
Didn't you hear me ask it?
That's sad.
I thought if you are burning your candle at both ends as well as periodically along its length.
That was the question?
Yes.
Okay.
At what point does it become a menorah?
Gwendy, are you a blonde?
I think she's just drunk. She's blonde and drunk, so.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on. Allegedly self-taught pilot flew passenger planes without ever attending aviation university. Russian media recently featured the story of Taras Shilast, a highly regarded passenger jet pilot who turned out to be a complete fraud. Despite never attending aviation university and instead faking his diploma, Shilast apparently flew thousands of people around the world for several years until a bizarre incident finally exposed him. Apparently, the guy was rather pro-Ukraine, so when he was flying through Ukrainian airspace, he announced, "Glory to Ukraine," which is a bad thing to say when you're a Russian citizen. And in the resulting investigation, they discovered, hey, this guy never actually learned how to fly.
He was flying for Russia.
Well, he flew out of Russia, Crimea, Moscow, that sort of thing, all over the place.
Well, let's be honest, they don't exactly have the best reputation or history when it comes to following certain guidelines.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm pretty sure a little chewing gum here, a little $5 there, you could bribe your way into becoming an airline pilot, no problem in Russia, but...
Yeah.
Wow.
Is this like the Russian version of Catch Me If You Can?
I think so, but I'm just impressed that the guy apparently was really, really good at his job. Like, I've got my hats off to this man. I mean, like, this is what happens if you go libertarian. Everybody can just be airline pilots if they want to be.
I mean, as long as you don't kill anybody.
Yeah, I think that is probably the best case in this case.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would only happen once, though.
I mean, fair point.
Apparently, I don't know how much a ruble is, but he's apparently been fined 1.5 million rubles. So, I mean, for all I know, a ruble's
60
like
quid.
60 quid. Oh, okay. So he owes about 60 quid. Gotcha. Oh, God. Although there are people insisting that they're lying, that it's actually conspiracy to get rid of this guy. So.
Because he likes the one thing.
The Ukraine or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. I had a sentence. It was there.
No,
And then
he's
the
been
wine took
fined about £15,000. That's what
Wow.
he's been fined.
That's pretty steep, but well, I mean, he still got to be a pilot for 5 years, so hats off to the man. Anyway, we're getting to the big story of the week.
He's lived as few have dared to dream.
I believe I can fly. That's why I forged my diploma. Anyway.
Well, it's like this. We know there was a group of other people who did that as well and got away. But I think that might be a touchy subject for Mr. God.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm for any subject where I touch myself. Oh, wait, did I hear you wrong?
I don't know now. You're sort of intriguing me, sir.
At any rate, speaking of intriguing, everybody heard about Anthony Bourdain, right? For those who don't know, the award-winning chef, writer, and television personality Anthony Bourdain has died of apparent suicide. He was 61.
Can I say that I had never heard of this guy before today?
Well, you're lucky that you've never watched
Isn't
CNN.
Isn't he like a food critic?
He is this weird guy who would fly around the world and find things to eat. Specifically, I think about 80% of what he ate was a bug. Some sort of bug.
Wasn't that Bear Grylls?
Another 15% was like lizard of some sort, including snake. And about 5% was something just disgusting and slimy, probably removed from something that was...
like this.
I mean...
Yeah, that's Bear Grylls.
Yeah, he was... Well, he was like Brill Gillis and that guy who's Man versus Food, except he would eat in posh restaurants.
Right,
anyway,
right.
I mean, he's an award-winning of the Emmys, which means absolutely nothing in these days. But in case anybody out there is thinking about suicide, feel free to contact me. It's my job. I talk people out of killing themselves. But also, don't kill yourself. That's bad. Do not kill yourself. That is a bad thing. I would prefer you to be alive than dead. Okay? So let's just make sure that's out there.
That way you're still paying taxes.
Exactly. But in this case here, I mean, he left behind an 11-year-old daughter. So for people who say there's no morality behind this, that's the part where I bring that up and I go on, you're leaving your child behind. So yeah, there's some morality here to this. It isn't, don't blame the victim. I'm not blaming the victim. I'm blaming the culture that he was in. This guy is like, there's another article coming up that we'll discuss it. I can.
Well, I mean, like, if you think about it, it's kind of similar with, like, what was that guy? Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, or, like, Robin Williams. I mean, these are big, well-known people. They had kids. There's obviously something that made them want to kill themselves that badly that they actually went through with it. That's sad.
Well,
how old was I?
I'm going to bring up the next article just so I can drive the point home of why I think he wound up killing himself.
Right.
Was it online bullying?
Why Anthony Bourdain's life is a lesson for white men of privilege and how to be an ally.
Oh, God.
What?
The culinary world shifted with news that the rock star chef and author Anthony Bourdain died of apparent suicide. It was confirmed by CNN on Friday.
You're walking away from the article. Drew walked away.
In recognizing his privilege, Bourdain was able to stand up for women, marginalized community, and even question how his own past choices lent themselves to perpetuating dangerous environments. It would have been effortless for Bourdain to adopt a worldview of men who share his status and influence. Bourdain instead explored words besieged by that power and challenged its beneficiaries to do better. Feminism killed this man. Feminism killed this man. It destroyed his soul, and he eventually died. And I'm going to say it this way. It's because it told him reportedly he was an evil person. He lost all hope, and he probably got incredibly obsessed about thinking what a horrible person I am, and the world would be better off without me. After all, I'm white, and killed himself. And I'm not exaggerating here. I'm not saying this because I run into this
wholeheartedly
shit.
disagree with you.
God.
Well, okay,
Can I
maybe
ask a
social
question?
justice warrior in general, but I'm
Can I ask a quick
Go
question?
ahead.
Feminism? What?
maybe social justice warriors.
Which cunt actually read that piece?
I'm Malaika Jabali Malai
For
from
where?
Glamour magazine.
Over.
Oh, that's
Oh, so
glamour.
it's a credible source then.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's an opinion piece. It's just an opinion piece. But see, here's the thing, and I run into this a lot. It's that social justice is really nihilism. It really is. When you boil it down, when you follow the logic to its inevitable conclusion, it's like there's no hope. Everything sucks. Life is misery. And, we've got to make things better because, everybody's oppressed. And when you follow that to its logical conclusion, it eats at you. I would have to say there's a good portion of the people here in my current job where I deal with people getting out of the mental hospital where that sort of attitude, it just gnaws away at you. It's this focus on joy over happiness. And what I mean is joy is momentary and fleeting. It's inferior. It's in the moment, something right now, happiness comes from self-esteem, from pride in yourself. Social justice constantly points out people's flaws. Constantly. All the time. What's wrong? What is it that, what's her name, Anita said? Everybody's sexist.
No, I don't care what
everything is racist, everything is sexist, and you have to point it all out.
Yes, constantly, all the
That
time.
woman needs to die. Like in a horrible, fiery death.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong here. I'm not opposed to feminism entirely because, hey, when women joined the workforce, it was a boon for any, country that adopted it. Why not, if somebody's got merit, if somebody's got skill, why not let them work? That makes perfect sense to me. But it stopped being that. At this point, it's all about pointing out who's wrong, who's evil, finding out a hierarchy of oppression, and all that other crap. And this guy here was completely surrounded by it. He was immersed in it. He lived in his own personal echo chamber, which I have no doubt kept telling him subtly over and over and over again that he was evil. And when you look at the records, white males are killing themselves. It's up. And don't say it's all men because black men aren't killing themselves as much. If you're a white man, you're up 30% chance of killing yourself in since 2005 now. It's just this relentlessness of being told over and over again, you're bad. Now, the problem is and what I imagine, because I'm not going to get into the details of my clients, but it seems to be that people who swallow this, drink the Kool-Aid, it's where it starts. Because once you accept this crazy logic that, you just by being white are oppressing people, that's the problem. Okay, because that isn't, trust me, I can oppress people without being white. I can oppress people just because I'm an asshole. I can trust me, I did things when I was a bill collector.
There's a difference between you being an asshole and systemic oppression. There's a huge difference.
I understand as the concept, but a systemic requires that there's some codification, some way that you can point to it, some law somewhere, something in writing that I can point to and say, this is the industry. And then you could say, well, it's just the culture. Well, if it's just the culture, then
the culture needs to change.
Then where is you can then interview people and you can talk to them and do surveys, and it's just not there. America is not a bigoted place, mostly because we don't give a crap. We're a very apathetic people. We really, really don't care about people. And as such, that's why we treat everybody equally. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying that we're pretty apathetic to other people's suffering. And as such, we don't tend to go out of our way to inflict it just because of the way somebody looks. It's usually because they did something to tick us off. In this case, when I'm reading about what they're talking about, Mr. Bourdain here, I'm just going, my God. Imagine dealing with this for years on end, where you just had people who were always going, you're one of the good white males. I'd be offended as hell. Would that not be a compliment? No. Because it's like what did they do last year? They started putting up signs on campuses that was, it's okay to be white. And people flipped out. They went insane. They were burning them. They were tearing them down. They said, oh my God, these are Nazis. Why?
Because they just...
I'm sorry?
Because as we all know, if you disagree with somebody, you're immediately a Nazi.
In the end, in my opinion, race, that sort of thing, any sort of thing that you're bigoted about, period, it should be like hair color. Yes, it exists, but who cares? Why should we care about it? The problem is that when people start pushing, you have to care about race, well, you can't care about everything evenly. And inevitably, one side's going to win out over the other. Only by saying it doesn't matter can you move forward. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, have you met me? On an awful lot of things pretty equally.
I have to say that I'm only bigoted against one group of people, and I would happily slaughter them all. Can you guess who they are?
White people.
Oh my God!
Anybody who uses a dildo shovel?
No, politicians. I fucking loathe those cunts.
I don't know. I know some decent politicians.
Well,
no.
Here's my opinion on that is, I don't have any problem with discriminating against somebody based on what they believe, because what you think, you can change. It's a choice to think a certain way. Okay? Discriminating somebody based on, and I'm going to say this, if you're gay or lesbian or bi or whatever, I do not believe that is a choice at all. I do not. Period. End of statement. That is, if not environmental, genetic on some level. Okay? These people cannot choose to stop being it. Trust me, I don't think anybody chose to be gay. All right? But
who would want to?
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be an outsider. Nobody wants to be, I don't mean this word, but in the parlance, freak. But the thing is, if you decide to say, I'm going to believe in X, well, then I'm well within my rights to go, pedophilia or whatever thing that I find offensive is bad. And then you should have a discussion about it, unless he's actually raping a child, in which case beat him with a lead pipe. But that all said there, I got no problem. If you want to hate politicians, I got it, but I would prefer you were a bit more nuanced before you slaughtered them all.
Yes, but I don't want to miss any.
Yeah, you just want to be sure. Nuke them all just to be sure.
Exactly.
Better be safe than sorry.
I think the real problem with politicians, since we gotten on the topic, is more along the lines of career politicians. The people who are professionally a politician.
Like that whole idea of draining the swamp, that never happened.
That's never going to happen.
The swamp is draining slowly a little bit, but not really. I think you might, if there's going to be any real draining, it's going to be at the end of this year.
Okay.
I really believe the midterm election is going to be a real slap in the face for anybody who thinks there's a blue wave. It's just the numbers were not there to begin with. Okay, when you looked at the actual statistics of, how many Republican seats are being threatened and how many Democrat seats are being, threatened and what districts they're in, it was bad before they started doing the polls. And now what? Trump's up 3 or 4 points now. If, generic poll, Democrat over Republican, it is not looking good for the Democrats. And I think once that actually changes, then, maybe you'll start to see more drainage, because we've lost, on the Republican side, we've lost quite a number of incumbents. I don't want to say quite a lot, a few, but that's a step in the right direction for drainage. I wish we had term limits. I really do. I wish it was like, you can work for 12 years and then you're out, something like that.
That's never going to happen.
No, who would want to vote themselves out of a job? That's just stupid.
No, I know it's never going to happen, but even if it wasn't as efficient to not have the same guy in the job for, 30, 40 years, I think just the turnover alone would force people to like start to look at things differently. We get way too much entrenched swampness, I guess. At any rate, we kind of really went off topic here with
That's
Mr.
okay.
Bourdain here. But it's a tragedy. Even if I don't like his politics and I got a problem with this guy, I really believe it's just, and it isn't just him, it's happening a lot. That these people who are on the left are really, I don't want to say suicide, they're taking suicidal actions. They're doing stuff that isn't going to kill them, but it kills their career. They take huge risks. It's like they've lost hope. And they're doing anything that brings them even a modicum, even at the slightest quantum of a feeling of positivity. And the only way you really get that is from taking on responsibility and fulfilling your obligations. By being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I have pride in who that person is. You're not going to be happy no matter what you do. And oddly enough, it doesn't take a lot because people think you got to stop comparing yourself to everybody else on the planet. The only person you should compare yourself is your past.
My only argument for that, though, is it's not always about like outside influences, because a lot of what depression has to do with is chemical imbalances in your brain, and outside influences, or even yourself just telling yourself, yeah, I'm a good person. That's great, but your brain's going to sit there and scream at you that you're not, and it's really hard to fight that without help. And some people don't ask.
Oh, no. I trust me, I know all about the clinical depression, and I've got some clients here that are clinically depressed, and people go, just get over it. No, they can't. No, they cannot. No. They cannot just get over it. Okay, and I've also we've got some bipolar people here too. My God, when you see these people on the upswing, it's bizarre. Where you're going, okay.
It's very strange to see someone in a manic episode. It's a very, very what's a good word? I don't want to say otherworldly, but I don't have a better word to describe how just surreal it is.
Because they're full of so much energy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I have to say, as someone who has suffered from severe depression, believe me, it's not the big things that get you down. It can be little things. I remember, if I went out to the shop, someone would be holding hands with a girlfriend. So that would be an image that would, all of a sudden, I might have been happy the entire day, and then boom, that's it, blackness for 2 or 3 days. It's the little things. I understood that the big things were out of reach. They were unachievable things, right? But it was the little things that sent me spiraling that added up. So I don't know if that added anything to the conversation, but I thought it was a point that needed saying.
No, I understand entirely.
I definitely agree.
And that is a very good point there, because people, in my opinion, from what I've seen generally, people have defenses. They've got mental self-images that help them to overcome problems. And oddly enough, the big problems are usually not the ones who take people down, because, these disasters, the way your life has been completely shattered, people they square their shoulders, pick themselves up, and plod on. Because there's an obvious problem. There's something right in front of them. But the ones that, as you pointed out, it's little things, it's small little things that suddenly come at you when you're not prepared, when you're not ready. Oh yeah, my wife's dying. She's got a tumor in her spine. 12% chance I'm going to be a widow next week. That's big. But that didn't send me into a tailspin of depression. But you could be sitting there and everything's okay, and then you're reminded of your past failure, fill in the blank. And suddenly you're going, wow, I really, really regret this stupid thing you've done.
Overall, usually it's a buildup of little things just continuously happening, and that's what your brain focuses on. For me, what ends up happening is it'll be just a bunch of little things that just keep adding up and piling up and getting bigger and bigger until I just kind of break down into a giant ball of mess.
Well, I mean, that's more, being overwhelmed. Depression is different in some regards than just being overwhelmed. The depression that I see is something that it's like, here, I am proving to you, objectively, mathematically, with absolute proof that things aren't bad, that things are great, that you're doing well, that everything you're depressed about isn't a problem. They're still depressed. So that's when you're dealing with the biological aspect of this, there's not much you can do. So I don't know if biologically this man was being, like that, but from what I've seen on his past history, this is like out of the blue. There doesn't seem to have been a history of him, committing, even flirting with suicide for Bourdain. Well, that might just have been well covered up.
On a public level, though, how much of that is he really going to show? I mean, that's going to be more private stuff that we wouldn't know.
I'm concerned with, when did this start? Is this past couple of years? Is this biological? Right. I mean, hopefully they're going to get some answers, but I got a real feeling CNN is already trying to sweep this under. I mean, they're going to the, memorial service, but they're not really seem to be exploring what actually happened. And I think that's because they would prefer very much for nobody to look really, really close at this guy's life.
Maybe he's secretly part of Pizzagate.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I know that we're talking about that.
Pizzagate is real.
I don't know about that, if it's actually real, but when you spend your life pursuing nothing but joy, and you don't really have a lot to say about being, self-pride, so you have some happiness, the minute the joy runs out, you'll do the craziest things in order to get that next fix. Whatever it takes to stay happy, because it fades really fast. Long
right,
term,
like an adrenaline.
Oh, yeah. So could Bourdain have done some really evil things then in his quest to make himself happy? I don't know. It's a possibility. But I do know this. I do not think he had any level-headed normal people around him, not in his life. I think
he was a celebrity.
Yeah, he was insulated from the rest of reality. And the one thing I've noticed is those people, they're constantly told, "Oh, you're okay, you're fine." All this positive reinforcement, but none of it's real. None of it's like, nobody's coming along and saying, "Dude, you kind of, that last thing you just did, that was kind of stupid." Knowing I judge people when I do a call on the suicide prevention line, and I don't always do this, but sometimes you can tell in the voice who you're dealing with when they're kind of burned out, where they're just sick and tired of people telling them it'll be okay. And when I run into somebody who's like that, I usually start with, no, you're right. Your assessment of that is pretty objective. And they go, what? Yeah, world's pretty unfair. That's a good thing. It's good that the world's not fair, because if the world was fair, I mean, all this shit that happened to you was your fault. It's not your fault now. And they bring up the negativity, but have somebody tell them and say, you're not wrong. Things do suck, but it's not suck enough to kill yourself. It sucks, and if you work at it, you can fix it. But it's one of the reasons I deal mostly with the service that I do, is because I couldn't handle the line anymore. Because when I was doing what was necessary to keep the people alive, I would get yelled at afterwards, saying, "Oh, you don't use the tough love. This isn't tough love. This is just truth." I'm not telling them buck up and get over it. I'm telling them, you've got an actual legitimate assessment of your situation. This is pretty shitty. However, let's move through it. Let's get through it. Let's get past it. Let's not just jump over it and ignore it. Let's not go straight to be happy.
You got yelled at for doing that?
Oh yeah, because and here's the wacky thing I remember the one call is the other person was losing this guy. She was talking to him and doing the usual reflection, never taking a position, just telling him everything's okay and trying to be happy. And I could tell he was about to hang up on her. And so I jumped on and I said, "Hey, how's it going? This is Bob Goodfellow. I'm the senior associate here. Just wanted to talk to you for a few seconds here and say, could you please go over what your situation was again? Because it really resonated with me." And she was annoyed, but she backed off because it was obvious she was kind of floundering there. And I almost immediately said, "Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, your situation sucks. Yeah, no, you got a pretty good assessment of just how bad this is." And then, but I never lied to him. I never said everything's going to be okay. I said things will improve eventually. It's not going to improve overnight. This one phone call is not going to fix your life, but and never lie. I never lie. I boldly say, and the situation was pretty bad for him, but at the end there, he's like, I want to thank you, man. You're the first person who's like sat down and told me I wasn't an idiot. Because every time he'd ever talked to somebody else, they all told him that he was wrong for thinking the way he did, and he was wrong for feeling the way he did. I told him, no, you're pretty accurate in assessing the world, and your feelings are perfectly valid to feel like shit, because that's an incredibly shitty situation you're in. And he thanked me, and it worked out well. And he went off to go get help. Like he was going to go to the actual, we call it CPEP around here, and get assessed. So he was coming in. And then afterwards, she was like, that may have worked out, but I don't want you using that tough love method anymore. And I'm like, that wasn't tough love. Tough love is when you just tell somebody, get over it. That's tough love. This wasn't.
Be like buttercup.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Be like buttercup.
Yeah, buck up, buttercup. Like, that's tough love, where you try to just basically intimidate and browbeat somebody into doing it. And that can work in a very short-term situation. Like, if somebody's in a burning building and they're breaking down into tears, hell yeah, use tough love and say, dude, get your fucking ass up here and get the fuck out of the building. What the fuck are you doing crying in a closet? You're going to fucking die. Get your ass up. Get up now. Get up. Get up. That sort of thing. That's tough love. But that only works for a very short period of time. Okay, tough love lasts maybe a few hours at most. And then the person's going to return right back to where they were. It's a temporary solution, and you should only be used if somebody's life's in danger. But that was pretty much the call where I thought, you know what, I don't think this is it. So I moved on to a different service that I use. To be honest, I don't always go. I haven't done it for like over a month now. It's very tough to do the job. And I've been doing it a lot here at my actual job, so I haven't volunteered much lately. But the fact of the matter is when I see something like this, I'm just thinking to myself here, and it's just off the cuff. Bourdain, I really feel that probably he didn't have any real hope in his life. And although I could be wrong, maybe this is some ongoing problem. It's biological, and he's been having it for decades, and it just hasn't been reported on, because I can only do so much work with Google. But in the end, and I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning, don't kill yourself. Seriously. And if you feel like you want to kill yourself, contact me. I'm really good at my job, and I got, I like saving people's lives. It's a hobby of mine. Or go talk to the professional line. But I'm sorry, what'd you say?
So it makes you feel good.
Yeah, because I take on the responsibility of trying to help someone. I do my best to help them, and if I actually help them, that's great. It gives me a lift. But even if I don't, and they hang up on me, and I don't know what happens, I still feel good about myself because I did my best. Even in failure, I fulfilled my obligations to the best of my ability. I may not have gotten a clear message as to what was going on, and I would, for the one time that somebody died on the line, I will never forgive myself, because I've gone over what I did, and I made a stupid rookie mistake. I asked, where do you live? Not where are you now? And so I sent the paramedics to the wrong location, because back then we weren't allowed to do caller ID or find out where anybody lived. And that was a recurring problem, where people would call in and they'd be all drama. This one individual had already taken all the pills. And she assumed that we would know where she was because we could do caller ID and that crap. And we don't know where you are. We're not allowed to, or at least back then. And so when I asked, where do you live? She told me her home address, not where she actually was at the time. The irony is I actually convinced her not to kill herself. The problem is it was too late. And I know intellectually it's not my fault, but it's my fault. And I will continue to beat myself up for it so I never make that mistake again. That's the way it works. If it's important to you, you don't forgive yourself. Maybe there's some people, maybe something like that happened to him. But whatever the case is, I'll tell you right now, life is a miraculous thing. Living is great. Trust me on this. Life is great. You should live. Even when it is horrible and things are going poorly, trust me, there's ways to fix things. In America, I have taken some calls that were from other continents, and I will say the conversation I've had with people in Africa have been, I'll be honest, I had no idea what to do. And I don't want to get into those details. But as far as, at least here in America, give me a call. Whatever your problem is, I'll help you find something. Because we got a lot of safety nets here. They may claim that we don't have safety nets. We do. We got lots of safety nets. You just need to know how to use them. So, anyway, anything else about this or anybody you want to share before we move on to the next topic?
You should become a motivational speaker.
That's kind of what the job is.
You know, like Matt Foley without the van in the river thing.
What?
Ah, I gotcha.
It's a SNL.
That's good.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to show you later.
You know, if I could find somebody to pay me for it, I would do it. But, nah. Anyway, moving on.
Just write a book.
Yeah, check out my channel and look up Eldritch Lessons. There you go. In case anybody's interested. Anyways, moving on. Chinese city introduces special walkway for smartphone using zombies. Apparently, they've created lanes on the side of the street just so people who use their cell phones and never look up from them while they're walking have a clear lane to keep them out of harm's way.
Wow.
So for those of you who think that China is trying to, how shall I say, mind control every single citizen through social media, here's one more like little coincidental piece of evidence for you. The part that kills me is why it's also in English. I mean, this is actually in China, but they have also included cell phones. Do you know they call them fubbers?
What?
The nickname for these people are fubbers. Phubbers. I have no idea what it means, but I'm sure in China it means something.
Fubbers?
Fubbers. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Any thoughts on the, China trying to get everybody addicted to their cell phones?
I feel like there's a meme in here somewhere, but I just don't know.
Okay, moving on real quick here. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. We put it on this maybe over a year ago here. College student who invented gang rape sentenced to a year in prison.
What?
Nikki was facing 6 years in prison, but she decided to plead out. She apparently, in order to impress somebody who she wanted to be her boyfriend, claimed to have been gang raped by 2 members of the football team. And, kind of destroyed their lives. And then afterwards, she came out and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I lied about all that. I apologize." And in fact, at the Sacred Heart University, in order to punish one of the accused rapists, put out a pamphlet with his picture and name on it, except that they got the wrong name and picture. And they spread around a pamphlet of a perfectly innocent guy. So, yeah, this one woman has pretty much ruined 3 people's lives with her false accusations, and she'll be spending less than a year in jail because she's also partially time served, as well as parts of it will be probably gotten away if she's on good behavior.
Sorry, what did I miss?
Apparently, some lady accused about a couple people of gang raping her, and then it turns out it wasn't true. And then the university, because they're stupid, posted a picture and name of a completely innocent person, so she ruined multiple people's lives with a lie.
Right, and what did she get for doing this?
1 year in jail, probably going to be less since it also includes time served, as well that she's already served, as well as she can probably get off part of it for good behavior.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah. I mean, it's a step in the right direction. It used to be that they wouldn't even prosecute us against false accusations. So,
well, that's true.
Though.
You could get caught with a false accusation, they wouldn't even accuse you once you were proven to have been lying.
And see, that like I said, that's a crock of shit, because there's this thing about filing a false police report that is extremely illegal.
Yeah,
that is
but
extremely illegal.
yes, but then the women would weaponize, what is it, white female tears are weaponized? I forget what the article was last week. But, you know, and they would just cry and say, I just misunderstood the situation.
No, you filed a false police report. End of story. You did a giant foobar. No.
Oh, and I truly believe that they should punish people like this severely, because there's legitimate rapes out there and you muddy the waters for everybody else. Okay? You really do. You know,
See, I see arguments, because me being a woman, I see all this shit from inside. I see all the arguments of, well, if we punish those who don't tell the truth, then the ones that, are too scared to say anything are going to be so scared to say anything, and they're just going to not. And I'm like, but then that stops the false ones. Like, if it's true, yeah, but see, then the other argument is, how do you prove that it's true? Because a lot of times it's hard to prove.
the system favors, innocent until proven guilty. So in my opinion, like, it's tough enough to get a conviction. So once you actually get a conviction, I'm like, yep, that's a scumbag. I feel pretty confident in our system. My problem is the universities using Title IX. Basically, they don't go to actual court. They're just, they're just getting their careers ruined.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, but yeah, the quote-unquote court in colleges, for a start, they don't have anybody who's actually trained in investigating a crime. They don't collect evidence. They don't collect forensics. I mean, for a start, I don't understand why the hell colleges have the power to run a court on a criminal investigation when they don't have any qualifications for doing so.
Obama.
That's
your answer. Obama set this all up, and it's
I'm gonna wave bullshit flag on that, because I feel like that's been around longer than Obama.
No, Title IX was Obama. Yes, there's been bullshit about this before, but it hasn't been formally codified until Title IX. Title IX is what really ramped this up to 11. So it should just go to a normal court.
Yeah.
It should go to actual professional cops. And you can say, we don't trust the cops. What are you, from Evergreen? But that said, if we don't trust the cops, who are we going to have handle it? The mob? Have a bunch of people running around with ropes and pitchforks and torches? No, I'll take the cops.
They did that in Charlottesville?
I'm sorry, what? Charlottesville?
Wasn't that where they had all those people with the torches and the pitchforks running
Oh,
around?
yeah, the tiki torches.
No, that was the gay pride parade. In their khakis and their torches.
I thought that was all right. No, same thing. That is just bad optics, man. If I was a hardcore badass, ultra KKK neo-Nazi racist, I would never touch a tiki torch. I mean, it's just such a bad image, man.
They're kind of stupid. You gotta give a little credit where credit's due. They're a little dumb.
See, that's why I don't want to oppress their rights to free speech, because it's so helpful to have them like jump up and say, I'm stupid, and then wave a tiki torch. It's like, thank you for calling yourself out there. I appreciate that.
We are now aware of the limited level of intelligence that you actually possess. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Very kind of you, sir.
God damn it.
Okay, well, let's talk about death traps now. Company buries $50,000 worth of cryptocurrency on top of Mount Everest. Well, they don't know where on Mount Everest. It's somewhere up there on the mountain. And they challenge people to go find it. A popular Q&A online forum, Ask FM, recently launched its own cryptocurrency and decided to celebrate by hosting an original giveaway. Instead of simply giving away some tokens to randomly selected winners, they buried a crypto wallet with 500,000 tokens on it on Mount Everest and challenged anyone brave enough to go find it. Wow, this is so dumb. Thoughts? I know why they came up with this. The Dublin-based company. So they were really rip-roaring drunk, like most Irish.
Okay.
And they came up with this
everybody's
idea.
roboting.
Everybody, am I roboting too?
I'm only hearing every other word.
Well, you sound fine to us. Although Gwendy is roboting.
What?
Gwendy is roboting.
You're it might just be my connection.
Yes, but where are we going to find rubber pants in my size at this time of night?
Hello?
Voice of one, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, well. I think we're losing Gwendy because of reasons.
Hello?
Hello, Drew, you still there?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the volume on my phone is like...
We had to...
Okay. This stream brought to you by Cookie Puss. Yes, do you need some sort of ice cream cake that will give you nightmares? Eat Cookie Puss from Carvel. And also brought to you by the Quonset Garage. Quonset Garage, where the water's always free. And our other sponsor is Orca X. The X stands for Extreme. This has been a word from our sponsor. Anyway.
Okay.
I take it Drew and Gwendy are having some problems here. Any rate, any thoughts on the lure? Yeah, we can hear you now. Any thoughts on the luring people to their death on the top of Mount Everest? Anyone? Bueller?
I thought you were talking to Drew.
Oh, anybody
I
can speak up.
This cryptocurrency thing, like, are we talking like that Bitcoin shit? Is that what's going on?
It's a new Bitcoin. Somebody made their own new
What
Bitcoin.
New Bitcoin. I just finally understood Bitcoin. Don't do this.
Yeah, I mean, cryptocurrency is an interesting concept, and I mean, I'm not entirely against it, but there's a part of me that's also going, I've seen it move from like pennies per coin all the way up to like $2,000 a coin. So I'm, you know, it's just like any fiat currency. There's nothing backing it up.
It sounds stupid.
Well, I would say that the only people who are going to have the money to go up Everest in the first place won't need the fucking money they'll get from the bitcoins.
Not to mention the fact that probably by the time you get up there and you bring it back, it might be worth like, you know, enough to get you a cup of coffee. But anyway, I'm sorry, Drew.
You remember when Dogecoin was a thing?
Vaguely.
Pepperidge Farmers.
Petrus Farm remembers. I got you. Petrus Farm remembers.
Oh, help me.
There's my meme for the stream.
Oh my God, I completely missed chat because for some reason it was not moving. I thought there was nobody there. Oh, hello, Ben and Jacob. How's it going? My little pop-up window that was telling me what people were saying was completely frozen. So until just now, it all moved. I don't know. He's the guy who was posting before you. Sigh, that shows you the quality of what we do around here.
MC wants to know if he can come on.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go right ahead. Do you need to send him the link or do you need me to? Because I want to get onto the course that claims objectivity is a white mythology.
What?
There is a college teaching that objectivity is part of white mythology. That objectivity is a myth.
What?
According to course descriptions such as social constructions serve to position the West and whiteness as an ideal by fostering implicit views about the place of white male Euro-American subjects as the norm. Thus, Hobart and William Smith colleges will explore the concept of meritocracy and objectivity as white mythology.
Oh, fuck's sake. It's getting fucking worse.
Drew left. Made him leave.
Now, who wanted to jump on?
MC, I don't know. I think he thinks... Oh, there he goes.
Oh, hey, MC. Yeah, feel free to jump on. How's it going, MC? What is the up? Please don't robo.
Unmute your mic, MC.
Yeah, we... Oh, wait, maybe I need to unmute him. Nope, I have not muted him.
Oh, did you get alcohol?
Nope, that didn't work. So, MC, if you wish to unmute and chat, feel free. I can't seem to unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Yes.
The problem wasn't you, the problem was me, so I apologize.
Oh, no problem. So, your thoughts?
Sometimes, for some reason, this recognize that it's supposed to have the headset on, and even when it recognizes there's headphone part, the part is in the mic won't. So I've got to reset everything. Small issue.
Joys of technology.
At any rate, we were discussing how meritocracy is a microaggression designed to oppress people. Just shoot me. Just freaking shoot me. And this is an actual logistic.
Designed to oppress people.
Calling things a microaggression is microaggressing again.
Hobart and William Smith colleges is not like, a joke. They're like, I think they're a major college, man. I've heard of them at least. And it's like, wow, this is insane that you want to discount meritocracy and objectivity. Like, I don't know about you, but there is an objective universe that exists outside of your perceptions. When you close your eyes, the rest of the universe does not disappear, okay? You are not 3 years old and somebody is not playing peekaboo with you. Christ.
Object permanence is not a thing that exists anymore?
Apparently not at Hobart College.
Why would you?
Oh, and it's a bi-disciplinary program. Like it's bisexual discipline. I got no. This is.
Oh my God! Help!
What? How does this? See the only way that this can occur, that a course like this could exist, is in a pure echo chamber. And this is like this exists, that people can get so eliminated.
What do you mean by that? This is just the same Marxist philosophy.
Well, yes, but there is an objective universe. How can you say there is no that having people do the best person qualified for the job should do the job? That's merit. Okay, why would you assume that was a myth? Like, I can't even wrap my head around how far from reality you have to get.
Places where meritocracy is a thing that exists.
Guys, I've decided I'm going to be a surgeon.
What?
No, I get this is all Marxism, but there's a part of me that goes, how can you go so far to say that objective reality isn't real?
What they're looking at is they look at a disparity of somebody who's very, very wealthy and hands everything to their child or their children, and their children are, basically, scum, and basically live off of the gains of the parent, right? And they're living the good life, and therefore it's easy to spew that kind of crap to people who are jealous that somebody has more than they do.
I get it. No, I mean I get that part.
People,
I get that part.
especially effective to the people who their fathers and their mothers have worked really hard and given them that life, and they feel, oh, look at the life I have. I feel undeserving because I didn't earn this. I didn't have to work hard for it. My parents did. So therefore, I'm easily guilted into these feelings.
All right, I have decided we are turning tonight to a drinking game. Every time that something super, super stupid comes up in a headline, I'm taking a shot.
Gotcha.
I need one for this because this was really stupid.
Yeah, like you need a game to drink.
You know what? I can't. I don't have that. Shut up.
Well, I've got something that might give you some hope here. An end of multiculturalism? Swedes are saying immigration is a top issue ahead of the upcoming election. It's about frickin' time. They actually...
How they vote.
No, they actually are going, 10% of our population being replaced by immigrants might not be good.
I don't understand.
Oh, Sweden is like they call themselves the humanitarian superpower of the world. It's kind of like giving yourself a participation award. Like, yeah, Sweden. We're Sweden and we're a superpower. Superpower of what? Humanitarianism. Do you actually give any money to any other countries? No.
The Nobel Peace Prize does.
Oh, yeah. We give out the Nobel Peace Prize to Obama because he used drones to assassinate thousands of people for peace.
What? No, that's... Okay.
All those drone strikes he had to personally sign off on, those drone strikes were assassinations. Okay? Obama, by the definition of assassinate, has assassinated more people than any president ever. So... wow, but in Sweden, back to Sweden here, these people, they've really screwed up their country. They've really screwed up their country, but the fact that they're finally coming around to it, I think is a good sign, but I just don't know if it's going to do any good, because... how
are you going to crack down?
Also, I've talked to a couple of Swedes over there. They've kind of given up. There's like a lot of guys over there, the few people who I've talked to from me, and they're like going, yeah, I want to get out of this country. The moment your people start to say, I don't have enough nationalism to stay in my own country and fix this shit, that's what makes a country a shithole. When you're...
I've heard the exact opposite out of Sweden, where a lot of people are more like, I like being here, I like what I have, I'm happy, versus what you're saying.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure they all like what
and then they move south, and they realize that winter 9 months out of the year, and they go, oh, this is what the real world's like. I'm never going back.
There's a related article that I got further along that'll kind of drive the pain home. I forget which one it is. Where is it? Oh, well, hold on a sec here. Sweden jails Ghana international Sarfo for raping girl. This guy is a soccer player who followed a 14-year-old girl into a Swedish bathroom, raped the crap out of her, and it looks like he's going to be getting about 2 years and 8 months in jail.
2 years?
2 years. Yep. And this is
they didn't dig a hole and throw him in it?
Nope. And in fact, in Sweden, this is actually an extreme punishment. Where I've been following Sweden because they've got an English translation of their main newspaper, and even their main newspaper, which is trying desperately to cover up all the shit that's happening in their country, it still seeps through. And it's like, wow, this is their main newspaper, this one. That this guy got 2 years and 8 months. Like, yeah, I'm for dig a hole, throw him in, bury him. But that's Sweden. They are so tolerant, so progressive, that they're literally dying.
Send your pedophiles there.
And actually, one of the real uptake is in, what did they call it? What was it? I don't have the article, but I remember reading it. It was about how single Swedish women who are social workers are sleeping with underage immigrants. But when you're looking at these underage immigrants, you're like, you're not 15 years old. They lie about their age. But on paper, they're being charged with being child molesters for sleeping with a guy who looks like he's 23. I mean, he's shaving, but on paper, he's 14. And it's this weird uptick on like male child abuse by women. That's how screwed up their country is. They've gotten everything like out of whack. They become so progressive that they're killing themselves. And I think of them as the canary in the coal mine. I really want to see what happens to Sweden, because if they actually start to turn around, that'd be great, because that's a good hope for the rest of us. But I'm not seeing it, though. Any thoughts before moving on?
How many people? They said 10% of their country right now is immigrant.
Oh yeah, actually 10% of their country is now foreign-born, over 10%. And I think their population is, what, 30 million? I mean, you're talking about, like, that's a lot.
3
and
million
most
people.
Of them, yeah, and they're mostly young men, like military-age men. That's not a good thing. Like, these refugees are not refugees. They're economic migrants, you know.
Grab them off the street and give them jobs, like digging tunnels in the mines.
I have to disagree.
Actually, what they're doing is they're actually kicking people out of their homes by eminent domain and moving immigrants into those homes in order to enforce spreading out the immigrants so they don't cluster.
I would say that Sweden, anybody listening, there is a solution to your problem, and a certain German came up with it in 43.
I do not advocate for that. I'm simply along the lines of send them home. They should fix their own country. They really should.
I don't believe in sending them home. I believe in putting them to work in the mines. They can sleep in the mines. They don't need to sleep in all these other places. You can have the best subway system that travels from one end of the country to the other without any problems whatsoever.
This is hilarious.
It is. It is hilarious.
It is.
Oh, hey, welcome back, Jacob. How's it going?
Very good.
This is
hey guys.
This is Sweden. It's they're. I think it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Wendy. Gwendy. I meant Gwendy. Gwendy. Sorry. Nah, I get confused with her name with Wendy.
Oh no.
She flies around, goes after Peter's shadow, that sort of thing.
Oh God.
Little Never Never Land reference there. Anyway, anything else on this before we move on?
I still think my plan would work, but you know, so
it could work. I mean, it's a solution. I don't know if it's the best solution, but it's a solution.
It's a final solution. Boom.
Ow. Like it leaves.
By the way, do you know what the solution was before the final solution? They were going to ship all the Jews down to Madagascar. That was the next to the last. That was the penupulate solution. The
Wait,
almost final.
You're
solution.
serious?
Yeah, that was the plan. But then they stopped allowing Germany to, like, they did a blockade on Germany, and Germany couldn't figure out how to ship all the Jews down to Madagascar, and so they said, well, we can't kick them out, so let's, I don't know. You got any other solutions? Well, we got this, you know, let's see, we can go with plan B, plan Zyklon B, I guess. So. At any rate, also from Sweden, since we're on the track here, a clear majority of preschools in migrant-heavy areas across Sweden have admitted to the fact that you can fully imagine forcing children to wear the Islamic veil, should the parents want it. Now, I want to explain something. Little girls in Islam, Muslim little girls do not wear the veil because the veil is a sign of you are of age to have sex with. Okay, so putting the veil on anybody who's pre-puberty, like 5 or 6 year old little girls, is basically the equivalent of what was it, Bonnet Ramsey, that little like 5-year-old, yeah, like all that like little that weird child porn crap that's on the Learning Channel. It's
What the crap?
Oh, you've never seen these like little they dress prepubescent.
I thought you were
Wait,
talking about
hold on.
queer kid stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Wait, that's
This is
what
the
we're
Muslim
talking about?
equivalent. Yeah, this is the Muslim equivalent.
Oh,
If you put a veil on
God.
a little girl, you're basically saying she's available for
Jesus.
sex. That's their way of. That's the equivalent of pedophilia for a Muslim. So
That's the way for the fathers to advertise their daughters. Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
And I like.
I just want to say all cultures are equal.
Nuke it for Morbid.
Is the only way to be sure.
Yeah, it's the only way to be sure. But this is how screwed up Sweden is. That you're advocating for what basically is pedophilia, but they don't even know it because they're so stupid. But anyway.
Well, they're not Muhammad's bitch for nothing.
Women, and this happened in Sweden, apologizing to their rapist and not wanting them kicked out of the country.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, the man who was raped by a Muslim who felt forced to report it to the
was
police.
raped by a Muslim too.
I'm so sorry.
Did the same
that you
thing.
raped
She was
me.
crying.
I'm so sorry they're kicking
On
you out for
television,
buggering
and-
me in the ass.
And well, no, this happened to a girl too, a woman as well. And she was crying about, I don't want him kicked out. I don't want him removed. What the hell?
Well, I'm sorry, and this might sound very cold-hearted, but if she's sitting there going, I don't want my rapist kicked out of the country, I can only think you fucking enjoyed love and it wasn't rape.
Yeah, but
I know people will question me in that, but come on.
Oh yeah, no, rape. You can't rape the willing, I suppose is the saying. But how screwed in the head do you have to be to think that it's more important that we respect Muslims? This is what Marxism does. You treat everybody as a group. You weren't deporting your rapist. You were deporting oppressed people. I can take one in the ass for the team, I guess.
Literally.
Money rate. Moving on to something more silly. Ice cream maker and a brewery team up to create Fudgy the Beer. A brewing company in New York has joined with an ice cream maker so consumers can have their cake in a beer. Captain Lawrence Brewing Company Fudgy the Beer is a take on Carvel's Fudgy the Whale, ice cream cake that was formed in the shape of a whale.
I want for my birthday.
I can't give you that for your birthday.
I demand a Fudgy the Beer cake.
Stop being queer.
The stout beer is brewed with the ice cream cake maker's signature chocolate and fudge and is a 6% alcohol by volume. I was actually hoping it was a ice cream cake made out of beer, but apparently it's a beer made of ice cream cake.
That's disappointing.
So is it like a beer float? Like a root beer float?
I believe it's one of those microbreweries as opposed to microaggression breweries.
Yes.
So, yeah, apparently you could probably order this. So if you wanted to, you could have it ordered and sent to you. Fudgy the Beer. By the way, Carvel's been having some hard times around here. So, like, this seems like one of those publicity stunts here. But, yeah. Gwendy, you might want to go away for a few seconds, for a minute or two.
Oh crap!
Why?
Why? I'm just saying you don't want to know, but go ahead.
You're drunker.
Idaho teacher accused of feeding puppy to turtle is charged. An Idaho teacher accused of feeding a sick puppy to a snapping turtle in front of several students has been charged with misdemeanor animal cruelty. And for being seriously fucked in the head.
Circle of life.
What was his religion, man?
No,
gotta be.
You did it wrong. It's the circle jerk of life. Sorry. Preston Junior High School science teacher Robert Crosland I can only assume this guy wanted to get fired because he faces up to 6 months in jail and a $5,000 fine for feeding a puppy to a snapping turtle. What the fuck were you thinking?
First of all, did the snapping turtle actually eat the puppy?
Yes, and it was a non-native turtle. It wasn't like he found this. I found this turtle in my bag. No,
I mean,
he
people feed
imported a non-native puppy-eating turtle.
Okay, so would it have been okay if it was an alligator?
No! No, feeding puppies to alligators is bad. They've got rats
Okay.
that
Feed
you
them
feed to
chicken.
things. You can buy rats and feed them.
Why do we feed mice to boa constrictors?
Yes, stick with the mice, not the puppies.
Hang on. You know, if he had killed the puppy on the turtle, he could have had serpent turtle.
Oh my
Notice
fucking
how
God.
much of the best of people I bring out when I'm on one of these streams.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Just wow.
Like voice feels free to be his real self.
Speaking
Yes,
of
my leader is he.
Oh, hey, Matt.
Speaking of weird things to eat, news updates from South Africa. Here's a direct quote from their minister. If eating each other is the only option we have left when the white farmers leave, then it is fine. We will do it. People do eat people sometimes to survive.
That will totally work. I mean, seriously. They could eat each other the whole fucking way. That will totally work.
Hey, Mad Dog.
Oh, you're actually right about that. You're right about that.
Yeah, we don't need
'Cause
white
as soon as
farmers
they do that,
because we can fish.
as soon as they do that, no more stupid people in Africa. At least so
there
far.
you go.
Yeah, because
Handle it.
yeah, because
Oh, it's not. There's no more stupid people. There's no more slow people.
Shut up, MC.
Stupid ones will still live. The fast
son
ones
of
will
a
either
bitch.
A, get away, or B, be the ones smacking the other ones in the head to get eaten.
No,
I think we can solve. I think we can help solve America's obesity problem and help Africa at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm not that fast anymore. Leave me alone.
It shouldn't be actually. It's actually really good.
No.
mad.
If your leg is as big around as my torso, then we ship you out. Okay.
well, no, I'm actually curious. Gwendy, you're the feminist here, like, right? You're the lefty. How do you feel about eating people? Is that bad?
I mean, are we talking like define eating people?
Devouring their flesh for caloric
Define
intake.
eating people.
Devouring
Goddamn.
human
How
flesh
do you
for
have to
caloric
define
intake.
that?
That's how it's defined.
So, like eating human flesh for caloric intake?
Yep.
Say that 5 times fast.
I bet you I could. It doesn't matter how drunk I am.
No, fuck off. You're drunker than I am.
You don't understand.
No.
You don't understand. I'm mildly inebriated. Shut up. Mildly.
Doesn't this one qualify for another drink, by the way, Wendy? Because this one seems pretty stupid. The leader of a country advocating for cannibalism. I'm thinking
All
that ranks
fairness,
up there.
it's my alcohol. I have to ask for. Can I have another drink, please?
Yeah,
Is
see?
that okay?
There you go. There you go. No, see, the thing is, Wendy,
Don't
eating
listen to me.
people
I don't want to be
is
cut off.
bad. No, eating people is bad. And,
Eating people
you know,
is bad.
that's
Don't
just the
eat
way it
people.
is.
Let's
Oh, come
eat
on,
people out.
Matt
That's a
Dodge.
different
Let's let the
story.
market decide.
God,
We shouldn't eat
Dude.
people. It's not
But,
okay
hey,
to eat people.
I'm going to open
Hey,
up my own
pigs-
chain of
People out.
restaurants. Corpus Krispies.
Boiling green for everybody.
God
Oh, wait.
damn.
Pigs are pretty close. Pigs are pretty close to humans. We taste
I
pretty
am-
good.
I am so glad I'm on the show.
I'm going to have...
This was a great time to answer.
I am going to have
Hang
every
on,
driver's
hang on,
license
hang
in
on.
the world. Every driver's license in the United States will add another checkbox where you can get paid in advance $400 or $500 from my company if we get upon your death to eat your body.
Here's
Well,
the thing.
can
In
I?
Africa-
You can
can I
donate
have
organs,
that
too.
in a check?
In Africa,
send
we're
that
actually
here.
going to have now pygmies and blankets.
Oh,
I don't
God.
want to be. No,
Oh, God. Oh,
I don't want to be burned.
Oh,
When I die, I don't want to be cremated. But dude, are you gonna send me $500 right now for what I don't care about when I'm dead? Yeah.
Well, that's how I
hook
think
me
that
up, brother.
cannibalism should be handled. You can prepay people ahead of time, and then when they die, their corpse becomes the property of, Corpus Christi's.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Soylent Green, man. Soylent Green.
Remember our motto.
Soylent Green is people.
No. You gotta say it right. Remember our motto. Soylent Green is people.
Now I know why black people. No, now I know why black people like extra crispy.
Shut up, boy. You fucking racist.
Dude, you need to look at the picture of this guy. This guy looks like a Bond villain. I'm serious. His actual shaved head looks like it's throbbing, like he's some sort of like alien. He's going,
Yeah, he got a white cat. Probably got a cat.
He
Bet
looks
there's a
like an
cat
alien
somewhere.
skinned him and wore him as a suit, and now it's like, yes, it is fine if people eat people. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, well,
I mean, really, he looks like an alien.
Spirit animal?
His forehead looks like it's throbbing.
Totally
It does.
Your spirit animal, dude. That's your spirit animal, and don't fucking deny it. You
Minister
wish you could be him.
Senzi Kawana is my spirit animal.
That's right. Yeah.
The Prime Minister of South Africa is my spirit animal. I want that on a t-shirt.
God damn it. Okay, well now I sound like an asshole. Like, God damn it.
No, you did that.
So, in other words, what you're saying here is that
Shut up, MC.
in order to solve
Nobody cares. Shut up.
in order to solve the migrant problem in Sweden, you just did import a few of these.
Oh yeah.
Well, cannibals? Yeah, that would work.
Why are we having cannibals in Sweden? What?
Why isn't anybody discussing the cannibal solution? It's time to think outside the box.
It's kind of like a halfway solution between my view and Voice's view, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
at least
yeah.
they're cooked when you eat them.
Well, no, wait.
Think outside the box lunch.
No, halfway. Is that the libertarian view? Because I do not support eating people. Just saying.
It's nice
No,
to
I'm
know
not a
that
big
you have a
fan.
line, sir. That there is a line you will not cross, and you draw that line.
That's the line.
At the devouring of
Eating
human
people.
flesh. Yes.
Yeah, that's the line. I can't cross it.
Don't get
Let's
him on.
see.
Don't
Shut
get him
the
on
fuck
to
up.
abortion.
And I was getting ready
Oh,
to.
cabbage. Shut up. Oh, yeah, Gwendy, you want to talk about abortion? Let's talk about that.
Jesus, I said don't mention it.
Dude, don't say that like it's a pickup line.
Hey, baby, you want to talk about abortion?
Don't do that. That's a bad idea.
It's like fucked up, man. It sounds like a pickup line.
No,
Holy
that's stupid.
That's horrible.
Brilliant.
God damn it.
Oh, okay, I'm
What-
sorry. If
Best
you, wanna,
pickup line I've ever heard.
if you wish to talk up a bit more, feel free. But
Sexy lady, you want
or
to talk
shall we
about
move
abortion?
on? Shall we move on?
No.
No, hang on. I take it then the abortions are the veal of the human eating world.
No, it's the canary in the coal mine.
No.
A tasty,
What
tasty
is
canary.
wrong?
Help
What
me.
is wrong with you people? That's
Help me.
all I'm
The
saying.
answer would be a lot.
Help.
Anyway, shall we move on to cake since we're talking about food?
Talking about abortion and cannibalism.
The Masterpiece
Well-
Cake Shop, which does not involve cooking and making people into cakes. The Supreme Court on Monday ruled for a bakery that refused to sell a wedding cake to same-sex people on the grounds that they
Oh
are...
yeah, I remember
Oh,
this one.
no. What
Good.
they actually ruled on,
Good.
I know about this one. So what the court actually ruled on was that the state handled the case wrong. It's got nothing to do with whether
No.
or not the bakery was right or wrong, but that the state handled the case wrong.
Oh,
No,
really?
it's bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
No,
that's what the rest of the article
you
explains.
get to sell to
I know.
who you want to. Have you ever seen a sign? Okay, you walk into a gas station.
We know.
All right, and there's a sign on the wall that says, hey, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Yes.
Same goddamn thing. Get the fuck over it, you lefty fucking cunts.
You're a lefty.
I'm sick of this
Well,
shit.
wait a minute. I'm gonna
There's
disagree
no
with
sign
you
on
on
the
this
door
one.
saying no gays.
I'm
Fuck
going to.
that.
Yeah, but it will say.
No, there should be.
Calm down. Calm down.
That's not
Yeah, but now,
Low
Blood
tones.
sports.
Hold
Right
on.
now.
No. Calm down.
there will be a sign that the management reserves the right to refuse admission.
Service to anybody.
Or service.
No. But hold on a
Yes,
second.
you can.
here.
Hold on.
Get the fuck over it.
No.
Anybody includes the gays.
Hold
Sorry.
on. Slow down.
It just
Calm down.
does.
Okay.
So like I was just saying to Drew, that's not how that fucking works, because if that was the case, then private businesses wouldn't have gotten in trouble for segregation in the 50s and 60s.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
no.
we
Wait,
cannot
really?
discriminate
Hold on.
for
Hold
things
on.
that are
I'll
considered a
stop you
protected
right there.
class.
I'll
Stop.
stop you right at segregation. You want to argue about segregation? That was state regulated.
Yep.
Not the individual businesses. Oh yeah, you want to get into that? Let's do it.
No.
And
Stop.
no.
Stop.
Believe it or
Let's get
not,
back to the point at hand,
That's
please.
wrong, though.
Let us
That
return
was-
to the actual point.
That was
It
a
doesn't
state
discriminate like that.
regulated
You're getting.
fucking law.
My
No,
argument for it, though, if
Will
the
the
person
two drunk
we're-
people
what we're
please stop
talking
arguing?
about-
said,
What we're talking about here is individual businesses serving who they want to.
No,
Why is that bad?
we're not. No,
Okay.
let me
No,
explain the
no,
situation.
Wait a minute. Hey,
Okay.
wait a
Okay,
minute.
all right, stop.
I don't want you
Let Mad Dodge rant.
to enter my
Everybody
house.
let Mad Dodge
It's a
rant.
perfectly good conversation, and he's got a good point. But my argument would be, if the bakery owner had come out and said, "I don't feel comfortable making this cake because these people, like, not because they're gay, they just don't make me feel comfortable." That's fine. If you
Why
want
is
to
that
refuse
fine?
business, like,
Hold
Why
on
is that
a sec.
fine
No.
and gay is not fine?
I will
No,
explain
no,
it
wait
if
a
you
minute.
guys will be quiet for 2
I
seconds.
don't like that line of thinking.
Calm
No,
down.
no.
Everybody maintain low tones.
We don't care if
Maintain
you
low
like it.
tones.
It's got to be about the feels. It's all
Maintain
about
low
the feels.
tones.
God,
Let me
God,
explain the
God,
situation.
God, hang on, everybody, please, God.
Allow
This
me
is
to.
what happens when you have two drunk people fighting.
I know.
We all know
But,
who the two
but calm down and allow me to explain.
I
Allow
was
me to
invited
explain.
here.
Yes, you
guys
were.
wanted that shit.
Yes, you were. But allow me to explain the situation here. Here is the situation as far as I see it. If I make a cake and I put it on a shelf and somebody comes in and says, "I want to buy that cake," and I say, "You can't have that cake. You have the gay," that is discrimination, because there is a cake that I'm refusing to sell to a gay person, but I'm willing to sell to somebody else. Now, if the gay person comes in and says, "I demand you make me a cake that does not currently exist," and the guy says, "No, I'm not going to make you a cake," that is not discrimination, because there is no cake to sell to somebody else. You
No,
are
you're
requesting
talking
an
about
artist.
forced labor.
You are requesting
Right?
an
You're
artist
talking
to
about
create
no,
art.
Maddox, hang on.
Oh,
Maddox.
God damn it. No, let me talk.
Maddox. He's saying it is. I mean, this is forced labor. That is what is.
This is what this
No.
is. This is forced
No,
labor.
Eldritch.
If the cake already existed, he should be. Once it's made, you should sell it to anybody who's got money. If
But
it
he
does not
refused to sell them,
exist,
like, any wedding cake.
No,
It's even
here's
what he made.
here's the thing.
Okay, Doc.
In my point of view, all right, here's the thing. You're right. To a certain extent. So if somebody comes into my fucking shop and I don't like the way they look, maybe they have crossed eyes, I just say, "Fuck off, get out of here."
Yes.
That's okay. That's legal. That's fine. But the gay couple where I'm a fucking strict Catholic and I don't want to sell a gay fucking wedding cake, but I can't tell them to fuck off. I mean, give me a fucking break.
you can
right?
tell
Like,
an individual to fuck off, but they didn't tell an individual to fuck off. They said
They did.
no gay person.
No,
will buy a
Maddox,
cake
no,
from
no,
you."
no.
Gay people can fuck off.
Maddox, you're not understanding this. This is the point that Eldritch was making, is that it's about the forced labor, right? They didn't come in to buy a cake that already existed. They weren't refused a cake. They just refused to make a cake.
Well, yeah,
Right?
exactly, which they have the right to refuse. And the thing to
Absolutely.
me is, okay, your private business is the same as your home, as far as I'm concerned. You own it, you run it, and you can sell to who you fucking want to. If some fucking hippie comes in with no shirt, you can tell them to fuck off. Some fucking whatever you don't like, may that be gay, black, white, fucking, you know,
I have
purple.
to disagree with you on the point that you're saying you're discriminating against people by the choices they make. I am discriminating against somebody who chooses to wear a shirt or not. You can't stop being gay. Okay, the guy can't get a door and say, I'm not gay.
Oh, I don't know. You can try.
Try
hard enough.
Can he go a block and a half away and get a new cake? No, that's a real question here, you cunt. Like, and I'm sorry.
Can he force somebody else to make a cake a block and a half away? Maybe. But we're talking about the forced labor problem. Once the cake is already made, once you've made the cake, once the cake is already in existence, then anybody who's got money should be able to buy it, unless individually they break some rule that is
if they
required
don't
on
want
choice.
to sell it to you. No, see, that's the thing. They don't want to sell it to you, so fuck off. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, but are they not selling it to me, or are they not selling it to the group I'm a member of?
To anybody. To whoever. It doesn't matter. They don't
no.
want to sell a cake to Katy Perry. I don't care.
Wow, it's the exact opposite of like social justice. He sees nobody in a group. Like social justice warriors see everybody in a group and he sees nobody in a group. But groups exist. People judge people by their groups.
But they do.
You can judge me by my choices. You can judge me by my beliefs,
with you, Eldritch.
but don't judge me based on the color of my skin, or my, or the how I physically cannot change. But then in this case, we'll have to disagree. I don't think we're going to change Mad Dodge's mind.
Hey, look, hold on. This is the point I got to say.
I'm with Eldritch on this. I'm sorry.
All right, look.
I'm not going to agree with you, but you have a right to your opinion. I just can't agree with you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so but Jacob wanted to say something. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah. All right. Because many people see this as a problem, I think the better solution is let people decide whether or not the decision of the baker is right or wrong with their wallets. If they don't agree with it, they start spending money over there until they change the policy.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, Jacob. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're gonna vote with your wallet.
Yeah,
you don't like the bigot fucking baker. You're not gonna go there.
Whoa. Okay, wait a minute.
Hang on.
Hold on. First voice.
I would say that I would sell a cake to a gay couple, but only if they prove they're gay. Let's get some hardcore sex going on.
That is an excellent solution. Now, by the way, Mad Libertarian, I'm not talking about the law enforcement. I'm talking about the morality of the situation.
I haven't for a couple of hours. I had one thing alone.
So I believe it is morally incorrect to discriminate against somebody based on what they cannot change. Okay.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, right, this has gone beyond Eldritch. It's gone beyond the so-called moral, conundrum, the moral paradox.
No, the actual situation.
I mean, now you have, you remember those two women who ended up having their taco stand because of appropriation of
that's
of Mexico, because they went down there on holiday, right? I mean, this is the level of stupidity. You keep giving into this nonsense.
Yeah,
I won't they won't take it to.
No. Yeah, we're done. We're done backing down to this SJW bullshit and fuck off. A business, if they could ban you for not wearing shoes, then they could do whatever the fuck they want. All right? Give me a fucking break.
What if they ban somebody for not having feet? No. Legitimate question.
Really? Come on.
Oh, I work with the mentally and physically disabled. I work with the mentally and physically disabled, and I have had my clients discriminated against for their lack of feet.
Put the shoes on their stubs. Put the shoes
No,
on their stubs.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, would you ban somebody for not having feet? See, that's my point.
If I wanted to, and it's my business, I own it. I get to do that.
It's just bizarre.
I get to ban whoever the fuck
You believe that the free market will handle discrimination.
No. At the end of the day, okay. And anyone understand the trespass laws, right? When somebody comes into your property, now you can invite them in, but you also have the right to invite them out.
And you have the right
And
to
that's
shoot
part of the
them
reason
if
that
they
you have to-
fucking sneak on.
Well, you don't have
Like,
to go
kill
that
them.
far. Look, MC, we're just talking about
Oh,
people in a
welcome to
fucking
America.
shop. Yeah,
We
I'm just.
will shoot them
oh, yeah. Oh,
motherfuckers.
Jesus. Settle down, man.
No,
Well,
I've
the
had
legality
it.
of this
The-
is
the
already
vodka's
set. The
getting-
legality is already set. We don't need to actually talk about how the laws it actually exists. This was a moral, philosophical discussion.
The legality in this case, if I'm not mistaken, what they did is they struck down the statute in Colorado because what they said is the statute allowed them to discriminate strictly on the basis of religion. Statute that they decided on could no longer be applied, and therefore the court overturned the ruling. Now, and I don't know law well enough to know that whether or not in a civil case like this, whether or not it could be relitigated. I really don't know. Okay, but that's all the justices in this specific case said.
That's it in the first.
Anyway.
Okay, I have a question then.
Okay, one more question, then we're moving on. What's your question?
Okay, my question is, the Supreme Court said, "Fuck off" when it comes to the bake the cake issue. That's what they said. So, are you saying they're still going to litigate it? Because no, they're not. It's already been at the Supreme Court, and the people already won. You have a right to your own business, and you have a right to serve who you would like, and that's a fact. Get over it.
Okay. Well,
there are many other cases that are. I'm sorry for interrupting one more time. This is the last time. Promise.
Okay.
Cases still moving through the federal court system, and they made a point of saying that those cases could go forward.
Yeah, there are other cases that are involved that may affect this because.
Yeah, but it's precedent that's been made.
Yeah, there's a precedent that's been
and
made.
That precedent can be called upon.
Yeah,
exactly.
But one other thing that I wanted to point out, this is the actual reason I wanted to bring this up, is that if you were watching CNN and they reported on this, they said that it was a very narrow majority which voted in the favor of Masterpiece Cake Shop. Guess what the number, there are 9 Supreme Court judges. What was the actual ratio?
The ratio was 7-2.
Yeah, that is a narrow majority, 7-2.
Yeah.
This is what I freaking.
It's pretty overwhelming. That's pretty overwhelming.
No.
Yeah, this is CNN being a bunch of.
CNN
is a dirtbags. This is the definitive proof that they are deceptive. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm saying they're deceptive. You can twist language around and not lie. Right. But they are deceptive in saying narrow majority 7-2. Fuck you, CNN.
They took it.
Yeah.
Fuck
they
you.
They took the headline.
Absolutely right.
Can we not just go back to my?
Oh, I'm sorry. You were saying something, MC.
They took the headline from I think the AP, which said it was a narrow ruling, all right, and they expanded it, with the idea of saying it's the vote was narrow. All right. The scope of the ruling was narrow, and the court did go out of its way to make that point, right? That the scope was very narrow.
Yes, it was.
But the thing is that CNN is they're going to read what they want to read, and they're sloppy, truly are, and they don't care, and they don't apologize for when they do this kind of stuff to people.
Anyway, Cabbage, you wanted to say something before we move on?
They like to reinterpret things into their own, narrative. That's
not the thing. That's not the thing. They want to ignore things that are actually breaking news and just go with their own fucking false narrative. I mean, how many times did they talk about Russia? I mean, have they really talked about how fucking McCabe's assistant got arrested? I mean, how about that one? I mean.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need. You're preaching to the choir here. I think we all agree that CNN is bullshit. Anyway, moving on. I found an AI that will be willing to work at CNN. Meet Norman, the world's first psychopathic AI.
Oh, I read that article.
Scientists at Massachusetts Institute
is
of
not-
Technology have trained an artificial intelligence algorithm to become a psychopath by exposing it to gruesome and violent images on popular social network Reddit. If they were not trying to say, hey, don't talk to other people, only go through approved channels, let us control your minds, this is it. Like, they freaking call Reddit psychopath producing website.
Oh, mate, have you not seen what's going on with the Article 13 in the European Union?
Well, no, let's get to Article 13 in a minute. Let's get to Article 13 in a minute. I want to go on with what
Why don't you
Eldritch
let
said.
Eldritch run his own freaking show?
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I railed, you know, Mad Dodge a bit. He gets to come back here and go back at me if he wants. We will not mention why. We will not mention why. Let us not.
What
get
the
that.
hell?
But
No,
what did you want to say,
rant.
No, you can rant. Go ahead. I'm defending
I'm
your
not
right to
allowed
rant.
talk. No, what I was saying though is when it comes to this AI, the really funny thing when you read the fucking article was that they fucking fed it Reddit material, and then they fucking did a study with the AI that they fed the fucking sick shit to, and the AI that they didn't. And when it came to the Rorschach test, the AI that they fed the weird Reddit shit to would say like, oh, that's two people shooting themselves. That's a guy shooting his fucking daughter in the head. Like a bunch of weird shit. I mean, you want to get into the AI situation. I mean, come on, man. I mean, how much more do you need to figure out that the AI is going to be a bad fucking idea?
No, I'm with you. AI is probably, because if you feed it biased data, it's going to get screwed up. You know, and
Well, I mean, look what happened to the Microsoft one. You know,
Oh, I
I mean,
love
one
Tay.
minute
Let's have a moment of
one minute
ser-
it was a Nazi, the next minute it was a social justice warrior. The fucking thing was schizophrenic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, AI simply cannot survive being exposed to the internet. It will destroy you. Like between the Nazis and the psychopaths and the kittens, you're just doomed. Like no AI could possibly endure reading the internet.
Well,
like if we're ever invaded by alien
I mean, that's
intelligences,
the thing. It would
they
send
will
you
down.
insane. That's why.
There was this episode of Doctor Who
really?
where a Dalek downloaded the internet from in the show, and I was sitting there. That's so fake. The Dalek should explode because it just downloaded the entire internet. That many kittens and porn should make it just want to die.
Well, no, that's what I'm thinking too. It's the kitten shit that's fucking the AI up. It's all the kitten shit.
AI,
you need to cut that out.
The internet's made of kittens, after all.
Can I make a serious point here?
Shoot.
I know
No, it's inappropriate.
No, Kika goes ahead. Go ahead. Make your point.
Fine.
No, well,
Go ahead,
I'm
boys.
just saying that, you know, anytime people talk about artificial intelligence, remember, we are the intelligence, so any intelligence is going to be
Trying to cut you out so we can't hear you.
Well, no.
The AIs are editing him. They're on to us.
The internet.
Well, no, the thing is though, like I think he was aiming for the artificial intelligence is created by us, so we control it.
No, that's not what I
doubt
meant.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's not
he's
what I
back now.
meant.
No, voice is back.
Okay,
Speak.
go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me. Yes, because you got that point completely wrong, man. No, I was saying that we are the creators of the AI. Therefore, the AI, the only intelligence it can go on is us. So the intelligence is going to be like us in every respect. So you have to expect.
It will be inherently flawed.
Yeah.
I just want to copy my brain and upload it to the internet so I can live until the heat death of the universe. That's all.
Fucking Ray Kurzweil. Fuck you.
Well, no, you just want to be the head in the jar, like on
The lawnmower man.
yeah.
He wants to be.
Yeah.
No, he just watched the lawnmower man too often. That's all what it was.
Well,
Anyway,
what
Wendy,
is
get
it,
ready
though?
to drink some more.
Oh,
on.
I'll get a drink ready.
I think you've had enough.
Oh no, you're goading him. No, this is entrapment. This is
Melinda-
entrapment now.
Melinda Gates bashes white guys, saying she'll discriminate against them. Melinda Gates says she will prefer women and non-whites over men and white people, specifically for these immutable characteristics that have nothing inherently to do with business when it comes to her giving away money to promote you know, venture capital.
Yeah. What?
Does anyone remember that? Does anyone remember the company that was set up in London that was made up of all women, and they ended up bitching and moaning and everything, and it collapsed?
Only you.
Yeah.
Only you. Like, I don't remember that. I'm sure you.
No,
it was
no,
an
I do.
advertise.
The person who
Big company.
created it, the woman who created it afterwards said this was an incredibly bad idea. Because she did it originally based on the belief that she was going to promote women, and in the end, like, they just couldn't get directed.
Fine, you want to?
I will eventually point at you.
Although I blame her. I think she was just too wishy-washy to run the place. I don't necessarily know if it was inherently women are bad.
Ideologically.
But
I think she did it ideologically. That's why it failed.
Yeah, she didn't
follow
follow
an
like,
ideological model.
She didn't care about what actually worked. She cared about following her ideology. And that's why it failed.
And it blew up in her face.
Well,
yeah.
Isn't that what we all care about? No, let's be real for a second when we're laying our cards on the table. Isn't that what we care about, is our personal beliefs?
Well, the problem is my personal beliefs are meritocracy.
Fair enough.
Somebody just because of their genitalia or the color of their skin.
But
or,
no,
you know,
no, you do have a valid point. Just to point it out, we are creatures of passion. We use logic to justify our passions. We do. People who say we're logical creatures with emotions is wrong. We're emotional creatures with some logic, you know. And you just accept it, and move on. This is how we think. So yes, he is correct in that.
Right?
But my particular passion is for logic, which means I'm very passionate about being logical, which is kind of a contradiction, except that I will totally get in your face if you just do not accept objective reality.
Yeah, God damn it.
Eldritch, the thing is, though, this is one of the examples where it proves ideology and logic don't, you know, have a collision course. Because, you know, I mean, her ideology managed to fuck up her business, and yet, the logistics of actually operating a company were failed by the formation and the structure of that company, by the people that were participating in it.
Well, no, you're right, but that's a failure of the free market system, and that company failed. No. It's
the failure of somebody to be able to put in place a workable system. They failed to put in a workable system. In fact, the only time they made a profit was when they introduced. They introduced one was in the finance, the financial director, and one was in the marketing, and then they actually managed to make a profit. Yeah, but then the thing was that the women were the ones who then started trying to, you know, ply the men for their affections. No. But what I'm saying now, look, Mad, would you listen? That the point was that the business failed of the format that was introduced. It was because it was ideological. It was women only. And the only time it did any kind of productivity was when there was a couple of guys in there.
Well, okay, Mad Dodge speak, and then I want to make a comment.
Okay, well, real quick, I'm just saying, Cabbage, I totally agree with you. I just feel it's a failure of the free market system. They didn't have an offer to sell, you know, they didn't have anything to build upon. And that doesn't mean that all women will fucking fail. It just means their business venture failed. And
no, it's saying that all women. I mean, she said specifically in the article. I mean, you got to look into this particular example of it. But she said herself that she would never employ women again.
Well, to alliterate about what I think is the fundamental problem with that, and I think a lot of people miss the point with that particular experiment, which is, yes, I'm going to be going a little bit off here onto like gender, you know, predestination. Women are better at multitasking than men. Men are very good at focusing on one thing and just doing it. Women are good at thinking of more than one thing at a time. Now, whenever you multitask, overall efficiency goes down. It does. So most business models are set up with monotasking in mind. Everybody's got a job and a job for everyone, but it's one job. You do your one job. Even most modern businesses really are assembly lines just with paper. That is incredibly boring for women because you're only doing one thing at a time, and you've got all this idle bear power, all this idle brain power to sit there and think about everything else, which includes like everybody else there, and whether what's good. She made some comments.
Like that's
about
not
my
even a
shoes.
joke though. Like in most businesses where you have like a majority women. My best example would honestly be call centers, because that's where I've always worked for the majority of my working career has been in call centers. When you have a majority women, pretty much all you do is think about what this person's thinking, what that person's thinking, what this person's doing. It's just gossip, gossip, gossip. It's like high school.
I think
that's all women seem to think about. I'm like, oh my God.
I think the reason that all female business failed is because they didn't set up their workflow for women. Women are great multitaskers. I think if you buried them in 1,000 different tasks at once, making them feel a lot of pressure, it may have done
wrong.
better, but they set up a model that was very
monotasking.
What?
Because when they were creating it, they were all involved in how they were going to evolve the corporation, right?
Oh,
it was
yes,
all
they
very
were. Yes,
homogenous.
And they set it up totally wrong. They set it
they
up like men.
It. But they based it out of the women who wanted what they wanted and how they wanted it to be. And the next thing you know, that they're not turning up and they're more interested in each other's shoes than they are, and the coffee that they got from which shop and things like that, than they are in actually making profit.
Yes, that's actually my point.
I mean, and a lot of it has to come down as well, of course, to the employment, the human resources, and why you would employ these kind of vacuous people in the first place.
Yeah, but the jobs that they were requiring for these, I read the article. I studied it pretty good. The problem is that they set up a workflow that was designed for monotasking, when if they had set it up where they were depending on all these women to be more multitasking, constantly to keep them occupied, so they were doing multiple things at once, it probably would have worked better.
Appease these people, for God's sake.
Look, I'm talking about why it failed. I'm not talking about appeasement. I'm talking about why that individual case failed.
But the thing is, there's a job to be done, and then you allocate somebody to do a job, and then it goes, well, they're only doing this thing, so that's the reason.
Yeah, but that's not.
No, that just seems like appeasement to me.
It's not appeasement. But the problem, Eldritch, is that when you do that kind of design
business model.
All
That's
right.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a different business model.
When you attempt to spread it out like that, what you lose is you lose integrity into the chain of authority.
Oh yeah, it's definitely inefficient.
That works well if everyone is basically on the same level playing field. But if you have any kind of hierarchy is necessary, all right, when you're making certain decisions, then it will all begin to fall apart.
Okay, well, why is it that that company only made a profit? Why is it that company only made a profit when there were two guys in there?
Well, no, you'll never have a profit if you want to run your fucking company
with only one example to deal with.
I mean, come on.
With only one example to deal with, we can't pinpoint that the reason why it was doing better was the two men. You can conjecture it, but we can't definitively
hypothesize. Yes, I agree.
But
yes,
I am hypothesizing that while it may not have been significantly better, that the monotasking assembly line methodology of business is the most efficient, in that given circumstance, it may not have been the most different business model, more oriented towards everybody being multitasking, probably would have succeeded better than what they tried. That's my point. I'm not saying it would have been better, but it was not set up with them in mind.
Yes, but they built the business model around.
And they did a bad job. They made it for men.
Of the business.
It was a bunch of women who made it for men.
That's what the business required. Well, but that's what the business. That's what the person thought was necessary in order to function in that environment.
Well, but here's the problem. That's the problem with the feminist part of this is, for some reason, feminists want women to act like men. She went in there with a feminist mindset, set up all these women to hire only women, and then told them to act like men, and they didn't.
They had acted like men. It would have worked because when two men turned up, they actually turned a profit.
Exactly.
So they'd been acting like men, then they wouldn't have been fucking non-profit, would they?
Well, no,
that's the point.
That's the thing, though. Women can't act like men. Why? Because they're women.
I disagree. I disagree. I know plenty of women who are a lot like that part, the outset of masculine or feminine outlook. I've seen some women who are more like men than men.
Like men. That doesn't mean they are men.
I'm not saying. I'm saying about in problem-solving technique.
Back here.
All right.
No, somebody has my back here. No, no, you can't just fucking act like you're men. Be who you are. What's wrong with that in the
Well, no.
modern day era?
Well, people should have the choice, but you know, in my opinion. But yeah, you're probably better off acting the way you are than trying to follow somebody else's image of what you should be. And that is probably what the problem was, is she came in here with this image of how everybody should act instead of like actually talking to the people she was hiring and seeing how they actually act and then organizing your business around their actual skills.
No, I can guarantee you the way it went was she just got a bunch of people who were willing to validate her, you know, and were willing to value, you know, virtue signal their way into an interview on their, on their forms. And then they, you know, and so it just pleased her, and you know, I mean, she was running a business, right? She's
all these people sucked up to her. They fed her ego. Yeah, 100%. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, that, you know.
Eldritch.
What? Did you have something you wanted to say real quick? Anything, Gwendy?
Oh, I'm sure she wants to yell at me. I'm pretty sure.
Do you want to yell some bit before we move on, Gwendy? Okay, because I mean, I think we pretty much explained our positions on this.
I think we missed one big point here, Mr. God.
Shoot.
And that is we fucked up by letting the ladies out of the kitchen.
What?
I think that we did a disservice to women by letting them out of the kitchen because they became less happy. But as far as a national level, and as far as an economy, as far as an economy is concerned, it was a great move for society as a whole.
Let's talk about that. I'm not. No, wait a minute. I'm not gonna let you move beyond that, Eldritch. I'm not gonna let you just move on. Wendy, how do you feel about having, you know, yourself freed from the kitchen? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? And
I mean, in all fairness, I can't cook for shit, so I'm glad I'm not stuck in the kitchen.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but if you were stuck in the kitchen, you'd learn how to do it because you'd have fuck all
that's all you have to do.
I believe it should be a merit-based thing, but the problem is that we don't do strictly merit because we shame women who want to be in the kitchen. We shame them. They're dragging everybody back a century.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't get this bullshit about the idea that women are shamed all the time. And I don't know where that happens because I don't see it in real life. I mean, you see YouTube things about, you know, people who are, you know, are completely mental. But I don't see it in day-to-day life.
I mean, I have.
Well, you're not working for New York State. I do.
Well, New York sucks. Come join the Confederacy.
I know a gay guy who was told by HR that he had to start wearing earrings so that people would know he was gay.
Shut the fuck up, Kevin.
He needed a virtue signal so people wouldn't make false accusations against him. That he was recommended by HR to wear earrings so everybody knew he was gay so he wouldn't be discriminated against. That's fucked up. I'm a Jew. You want me to put a little big yellow star on my chest? Fuck you. My job in New York State is just fucked in the head. So if you're saying, you don't see this, no, I see this shit. New York State working for them is
why? Because of identitarianism. You know what? It comes down to this bullshit identitarianism. Everyone wants to dissect society into all of these little subcomponents and everything else so they can feel somehow superior.
And speaking of that,
it's pathetic.
We have Mazao has lost a third of freshmen in 2 years, even after enrollment jumped this fall. Yes, indeed. If y'all remember Mazao, that place where the screaming lady was trying to throw people off the campus because they were reporters. Their whole racial bullshit identitarian politics is basically throttled Mazao and university, and they're going downhill. By the way, you should go, if anybody is bored, go check back through some of my older videos way back, and you will see the Mazao, PR video, which basically has the whitest girls wearing bikinis you've ever seen. They literally tried to use sex to sell the university to try and bring people back. After all of their racism, sexism bullshit about how we want equality, they did the most sexist advertising video ever. to try and boost their score.
But why is women in bikinis sexist? Why is that sexist?
Oh no, no, trust me. The way they were doing it, they were using sex to sell. They were trying to sell Mizawa sex.
Why is that sexist?
I'm not saying it's bad.
No,
They were claiming sexism. Okay,
that's
was
not necessarily sexist. But my thing is, though, college itself is dying out. So I mean, don't they have to really make a fucking PR move? I mean, what are you going to do when your industry is dying?
The industry as a whole is dying, but individual universities, there's about 20%.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. What's up, Jake?
Am I mute or no?
Nope. We can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I thought it was mute the whole time.
No problem. You something you wanted to say?
Nah. Not just making sure.
Overall, the industry of university is hemorrhaging. They're hemorrhaging. But there's about 10-20% of the schools which are actually doing okay. But these absolute progressive ones,
No.
Evergreen.
No, wait a minute. Look at the University of Oregon. Look at the University of Arizona. Look
University
at
of Oregon?
Caltech. Yeah, U of O. Yeah. They have a high fucking
is that where the cannibals go? The University of Oregon?
Nice tie-in.
It's like that. All right. Well, no, there's no cannibals there that I know of.
Okay, good.
But fuck off. But no, what I was saying though is my argument is the university system is still going strong. So people talking about how it's just dying out, it's not. I mean, give me a break, dude. Look at the university system right now and tell me it's dying out. They're raising prices and they're getting new fucking plebs. I mean, come on now.
Oh no, I'm not. But if you want to look at enrollment numbers, there are places that are hemorrhaging money. I'm not saying it's a universal.
Well, yeah, most of them are doing it because of what? Because they're sick and tired of this social justice shit. You know, I mean, how many places now have to do, trigger warning seminars or some shit like that?
Men are avoiding colleges like the plague lately.
They have to be indoctrinated. Now, most people really understand now that the universities have turned into indoctrination camps, and they don't want to be a part of it. They'd rather go off and do a vocation. More productive. They're certainly going to get more money out of it than a fucking, what do they call them these days? The whatever course.
Give it up, Cab, you're done.
Yeah, I think you might. Anyway, I didn't really want to beat this to death. I more just wanted to mention that, as an update to Mizzou, that they suck and they're continuing to go downhill, and I hope the place burns to the ground.
It is.
And you know why?
Are you intentionally calling it? Are you intentionally calling it Mizzou?
Yes. I am intentionally calling it Mizzou, as in Chairman Mizzou.
Okay. Because they actually pronounce it Mizzou, but that's why I was just curious if you were doing it intentionally.
And intentionally as a reference to the chairman of.
Shut up, MC.
That's what I meant. Social sciences.
Yeah. No, we're tired of your shit, MC. Shut up.
We white man? But anyway. Obituary. Tornado chaser wants ashes launched into a twister.
Hating white man.
Yeah, okay. Let's go now. White man. All right.
Tornado chaser wants ashes launched into a twister. A Missouri storm chaser told friends in his obituary that he wants them to launch his ashes into a tornado, adding, "That'll be fun." Jim Mad Dog Sellers spelled out his unique wishes in the obituary he wrote before he died Tuesday.
I fucking like that guy already. No, I'm totally behind him. No, I'm with this guy. And if he wants his ashes, or first off, I would never be burned. I don't want to go out in fire.
Oh, I want to go out in fire. No, send me to heaven in a glad bag.
I don't. No, that's fine. But no, the guy wants to go out in a tornado. Have at it, sir. Like,
it's not original, man.
I'm imagining him putting it on a drone and flying it into a tornado. That would be awesome. But I just
But
thought
it's
it
not
was
original.
cool.
No, that already
It
happened.
wasn't ashes if they just had cut them up in little itty bitty pieces and then tossed him in the thing, so little pieces of
Yeah, but
flesh.
Yeah, it's called the narrative
flying all
film.
over
They
the
fed it to
tree.
crows.
No,
yeah, but it's not original. Yeah, but it's not original. I mean, does anyone remember Storm Chasers, the TV show? It was on Discovery or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
well, and there was a guy who got killed there, and he ended up putting his ashes into Twister too.
See,
It's not a
ashes,
new idea.
though, like, no, ashes. Ashes is okay. MC, body parts, that's weird.
I want
Like,
a whole. I
no.
want to be just as a whole body just launched into the air by a catapult. Tray bucket right into a
Get minced.
into a
Just
volcano.
mince yourself.
I want to be volcano cremated. Just not that you could do it at.
Yeah, exactly. No, even
Lava
better.
Lava.
So are you headed to Hawaii right now then? Like, you're packing your bags?
Come on. Even better. Just mince yourself.
Trying to
and
calm
then
the volcano
turn
down.
into hamburgers.
I'm sure you could jump in.
Volcano.
Any rate, U.S.
Oh,
patent
moving
number
on.
2000 and I'm sorry, 019540081 describes an invention that can provide a warning or alert regarding the position of the zipper. That's right. If you're walking around and your zipper's too low, this device will give you a warning. Apparently, you have a choice of sound, vibration, and getting paged or an electric shock.
That's stupid.
This is tailor made.
Oh, that's gotta be a pro.
Yeah, no, this is dumb. Like, these guys are fucking
Wendy, take a drink.
That's onion.
No. I'm already playing goddamn
MC,
man.
come on, shut
I
the
don't
fuck
need any
up,
more
you drunk
drinks.
cunt.
No,
MC.
mad what?
Jesus.
Shut up, man.
God damn
You know, MC, I don't think I like the implication, but you
It's about you and electric
Okay.
fence wires. I don't want to go into that.
Russian fashion blogger conquers social media with her huge
He
eyebrows.
just blocked it.
You've got to see
You
this
son of a
picture.
bitch. No, you know, electroshock somebody. I'm pretty sure I was speaking English. I doubt you know what that is.
Are you sure?
You're slurring pretty bad, Mad.
Yeah, seriously. That book.
I mean, in all fairness, I'm probably slurring pretty bad too, but that's okay. So
Do you see that in live stream topics? Those are actual eyebrows.
Six over here, though. The fucking sun's up.
Look in live stream topics.
Another door.
Those
She
are
planning on going on a
actual-
baseball team?
Those are actual eyebrows. I don't even know how she did it.
Hair.
there's no way that's eyebrows. You can see the bump where the makeup ends and the eyebrow begins.
Well, she's a fashion
Yeah.
designer, so remember when we did Fashion Police? These are the type of people who make it.
No, that's a child.
No, that's a fashion designer.
Bollocks.
Honestly, you can tell that she's older.
I just saw this and said, I must expose the world to this.
Eldritch, what porn are you watching?
Porn?
Sick man. You do know that, don't you?
Like dwarf Asian porn or something?
No. Not even close.
There are
But
therapy sections.
He did just consider it.
School district mulling homework ban proposal from students. Stony Point, New York. Of course it's New York. A school district just out of New York City says it's considering a proposal from 2 fifth graders to ban homework entirely.
Yeah. Way to build an economy.
I don't exactly see the problem right there.
Yes, let's
This
not
is
teach the children
equalitarian
anything.
horse shit, isn't it? This is the whole point about, equal outcome as opposed to, it's not meritocracy. It's just everyone's got to be equal, and it's fucking bullshit.
It's just stupid. I don't think there's anything else.
You
to
can't
say.
make anyone feel bad about themselves because they get a C on their homework.
Well, no, that's the thing. Is it equal
They're gonna get
outcome
tested
or
when
is
they're
it
in a
equal
fucking job.
No, what is it? Is it equal outcome or equal opportunity? I mean, there's a real big difference between the two.
Equal
Thank you for
opportunity.
confirming it.
Opportunity.
Out
You go.
opportunity.
I said it a little bit.
Equal opportunity.
Keyboard.
Well, regardless of homework, the school system's still pretty fucked up. So
Yeah, actually, maybe
There's
it
not-
doesn't really matter. That might be a good point. Like, the school system's so
Man,
screwed
that's
up. Take the homework, don't. You're better off, like, being thrown out the back of a moving van and trying to survive on your own.
Right. So the one time you have to actually maybe do something, for yourself, just take that out. Good idea.
By the way, just wanted to let everybody know, let's see, it looks like that probably Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security are going to be running out 3 years sooner than we expected. So don't expect to be starting to get Medicare after 2026 or anything after 2034. Pretty much the system will be completely broke by then.
You say these things and it never happens.
Well, of course not.
Thanks,
It's in the
Mark.
future, but no, I'm pretty sure Social Security and Medicare are going to run out of money. They're just going to reduce everybody's benefits to about 3/4. But yeah,
I mean,
They'll,
that's
they'll
the problem.
freeze it is what they'll do, and over time it'll become meaningless.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a devaluation, but they're not going to stop it.
well, I just wanted to point out that it's dying faster than expected. So if you're planning your retirement, do not depend on Social Security. I'm just saying, you're in America. It might be able to pay the tip for whenever you go out to eat. On to gaming news. If it'll load. SJW Media are furious that Valve will not be censoring Steam content. You can look this if you use Steam. Basically, Steam said, you know what? We're not going to waste the time and money to censor all of the game creators. So unless they're doing something actually illegal, we don't give a shit. Good for them.
Oh, it's supposed to be all the breast and all, right? Supposedly with these foreign games, right? No?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you clearly.
Oh, sorry. This was supposedly over foreign games like from Japan with the breasts showing in bikinis, right?
Oh yeah, and basically, if the more that I'm going to save everybody from the bullshit because it's way too long to go over everything. But basically, it comes down to, oh my God, they're not censoring boobies, and they're going to allow Nazis to murder people, and they're going to make vor porn and shit. And I'm like,
No. The last big issue was about some video game that was like a school shooting simulator, and that's what caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, well, illegal stuff, yes. Valve will get rid of illegal stuff. Some stuff is made illegal. Okay, I'll get you that. But it's the overreaction that says that basically Steam should be censoring everything. And it's like, no,
yeah, I don't understand why Steam is expected. I mean, they're pushing all this shit on. Weird.
It would cost Steam money, and I like the place, and so I hope they never bow to social justice warriors. Because the minute they give in a little bit, they're screwed. And I think they know it, so I hope that's the case.
Well, no, what was that one that happened the other week where Steam effectively did comply?
But I think this stuff was actually technically illegal, the way it was, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe we're not talking about the same thing.
It might have been that. Oh, right. So they had to take it. Yeah, but the particular content was the thing that people had an issue with, not necessarily the illegality of how they were doing it.
Yeah, I might be remembering it wrong, though. Moving on, Spotify removes hate conduct policy after backlash. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what even Spotify is, but apparently they realized, hey, when we start this hate conduct policy, we lose money. And suddenly money was worth more than their virtue signaling. So I think this is a sign in the right direction that maybe slowly, ever so slowly, maybe greed is coming back. I'm hoping so. Thoughts?
Comment. My son works for Spotify.
Thanks for the disclosure.
Oh,
so
we all
everybody
have
knows
our cross to bear.
how biased this channel is. I appreciate that. This is an old one. I didn't talk about it because I lost it. Starbucks closes thousands of stores for racial bias training. They have lost millions closing all their stores so they can show everybody a video of Martin Luther King talking about how he has a dream.
Okay.
Yes, but they don't want to value
it's not going to
people
end.
by them.
It's not going to end. They have shown weakness, and now the social justice warriors will descend upon Starbucks, the haven of so many of these social justice warriors getting jobs, and destroy the chain. And I hope so, because then we're finally going to have social justice warriors wandering the streets, eating each other, just like they suggest down in South Africa.
That's like I said, but it's the same thing as we're talking about, you know, when you get a bunch of feminists together and they all eat each other.
Or maybe we could put them in a mine and have them
Same
work
thing.
for us. I'm good with
You
you.
could actually just act like fucking human beings and actually coexist without all of these people trying to tell us how we should hate each other.
Get ready, Gwendy.
I mean,
Oh God, why?
Dog parks are a manifestation of rape culture and oppression.
What?
If you are a dog owner, maybe, just maybe, a couple things that come to mind when you take old Spot to the dog park are rape culture and heterosexual perform. I can't even pronounce this stupid word. It's this paper that was published from Portland where this woman asserts that basically dog parks are rape culture. And the only oppressed dogs in the rape culture are the gay dogs.
What the
becoming free.
I'm too drunk for this.
I'm sorry. I thought when I saw this article, which is talking about the paper, that they were deliberately slanting it. No, I read the original article, and I want to bash my head with this phone here until I can stop remembering it, because it was gobbledygook. Okay, but this is what colleges are pumping out, that dogs are rape culture, and that walking around with your dog is a rape condoning space.
What?
Yes, because the dogs are not seen as rape victims. But at no point in the actual paper does she talk about like the dogs having sex in the park or anything. So I don't even understand what the fuck that's about. But yeah,
I'm too drunk for this. I quit.
Sounds like
have I broken, Gwendy?
Yes.
Sounds like a
I think my best bet's gonna be going to bed because I'm just too drunk for all this shit right now.
Yeah, actually, wow, it's getting to 1 o'clock. Maybe we should wrap this up here.
I know.
I'm just going to go over the
No,
titles
crap.
real quick. Tell me if any of these jump at you. Trump telling G7 to go fuck themselves. Do you guys want to talk about that?
What's G7?
I'll take that as a no.
It's the 7 top countries, you know, GDPs.
Yeah.
Eh.
The man who became a millionaire by selling fake dog balls. The man made prosthetic implantable dog testicles for neutered dogs.
What?
Actually, I just shoved up the whole article right there, so I think we could skip on that. This one is just the weirdest thing. Wendy, you're the only one who might actually know this before I show the article. I do want to look at this. What is a Toblerone tunnel?
I know what a
Toblerone,
Toblerone
yes.
is.
Well,
It's a candy bar.
With triangular tunnel.
It's
when a woman is so
Delicious candy
skinny,
that I love.
that while she's wearing a bikini, there is a gap between her inner thighs that looks
thigh
like a
gap.
Toblerone that you could put a Toblerone candy bar through. That
See,
I can't even. This is from
the
Britain, by the way.
So
I blame you, Cabbage.
standing in a certain way.
And voice. This is you guys. You created this Toblerone tunnel shit.
Yes, well, we didn't create it.
What did I do?
We're being accused of things here.
I
Yes,
want-
no, but basically, you know, you see a woman with, I mean, some women have got their fucking legs, you know, rubbing together, and you got women whose legs are actually, you know, separate.
Top hospital chief calls for NHS to fight white privilege.
Yes, of course they do.
Dude, you guys got it rough, man. I am sorry about that.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, God.
I've got to say, you know, there are times to be salty, and I am.
Well, when you guys need to flee your country, let me know, and we'll see about putting you up for a while.
Oh, wait. No. You don't flee your country. That's cowardice. No. We got to fix it.
Good for you. Good for you. Although this one I do want to talk about briefly. Trump disrupts G7 gender equality meeting by arriving late. And I love this picture of Merkel just sitting there going, where's Trump? I'm glad he showed up late. I'm glad. Because this is just bullshit.
Fucking
Oh, thank you, Trump. Thank you for making me smile.
I am ready for bed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Is Drew invited, or is it a general request?
Well, I would sure hope that he comes to bed, but I mean, he's in the other room.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more because the rest of these are kind of redundant, but just one more and then we're done.
Okay.
Unlicensed surgeon films rap videos while operating on unconscious patients. The #1 female plastic surgeon in the Southeast, Wendell Boyette, who's a black woman, apparently liked to film rap videos while performing plastic surgery on unconscious people.
That's weird.
Oh my god, that's so American.
I'm more worried if one woke up in the middle of this.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there and like waking up to seeing this woman
Damn good
rapping to the song "Cut It." So, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, hey, didn't you say we're going to get to something about Article 13?
Oh, God. Is that still in
It's
there?
the European Union and their fucking
Oh, God,
lunacy with shutting down the internet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, their goal is well. I mean, the theory is that like if you want to deal with the EU and
It's
you're
Pippa and Sopa combined. I mean, that's what they're basically wanting to do.
and there's no way of really stopping it. It's going to go through. But my thought on the whole, I think that's why Donald Trump being such a hard ass against the G7 and the EU with all of these what do you call it tariffs. Because I think he honestly, legitimately sees the socialism of these countries to be a real problem and is basically going on the attack.
Yeah, I see Donald Trump as like the quagmire of the UN. You know, so he just goes in and goes, giggity, giggity.
In more than one way, yeah. Donald Trump is the EU's Vietnam. I'm pretty sure about that.
Now, in regards to Article 13,
yeah, if you want to talk about it, go ahead.
It will be bad for those in Europe, but from my perspective, we in the U.S., we're going to be good. These sites, they're going to have to make a choice. Either stick with the United States laws, or they decide to follow what the EU says.
Yeah,
Most likely, they're going to try to follow what the EU says. And you know what? That's going to fuck them over.
Yeah, I hope it
if they do, they're going to lose a large users. They're going to lose a lot of users if they do this, and they probably will.
Well,
and it's going to help the smaller sites.
Wendy, if you want to go, we're done. You can go.
Remember the head of Facebook?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dip because I'm like passing the fuck out. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Sweet dreams.
Wendy.
Oh yes, all the sweet dreams in my drunken stupor. I blame you guys for how drunk I got. Fuck all you bitches.
You sick, perverted socialist dreams. Go on.
Just remember,
I will enjoy my socialist dreams where I remember that the world can be good and hope that it will continue to stay good.
whereas all you bitches can live in your little awful world. I'm all right with that.
Just remember, it's
Some of
turtles
us
all the
will
way
once
down.
again take up our mantle on the wall for you, no problem.
Puppy-eating turtles.
That's
all the way
okay.
down.
I still love you guys. That's what counts, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Now, technically.
All right. Well, I will talk to y'all later.
Catch you later. But back to the Article 13. If you guys wanted to talk about it all, I think that it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But will it? I have a feeling it's actually going to screw over the EU. And I don't think they're doing really good right now. So I think every little kick in the nuts that we can give them is good. And eventually it's just going to break. But that's my thoughts. Any other thoughts?
Article 13 is a fucking disaster. I mean, serves no purpose in terms of what the internet was intended for.
Think about
It's
the
a
children.
complete-
All the children we're killing through abortion. Think of them.
Oh God, please don't go there. It's gonna be it will be disastrous. And the thing is that so what? Well, you remember Zuckerberg was talking with Merkel, Mike, discussing how they're going to do all of the censoring and things like that. I mean, this shit's not like it's new it's not a new concept. Using its algorithms for its own agenda for an awful long time. Mm-hmm. So the tech companies are far more powerful than any government. Effectively become the global union. The tech
Well, I
companies.
mean that's their goal, but I don't see. There's a problem with their plan, which is reality and how much money they make. As long as they've got the government funding them, yeah, this insanity will continue. But if eventually even governments run out of money when they're mismanaging it. So,
well, yeah, they will.
I'm hoping that this finally...
They won't let it go that far, but what they will do is they'll drive the economy into the ground so that, people really have no...
Which brings me back to Trump
no
and his
recourse.
Tariffs. I think he's basically trying to build a firewall against the upcoming disaster. I really do. But I don't think he's doing a good job, but we'll see. Every time I look at him, I go, I think he's an idiot.
Tariff wars are stupid. I mean, open, free trade is the way to go. I mean, and it worries me actually when he's talking about this sort of stuff. When, Britain with Brexit, one thing we need to do is to start making some trade agreements. Last thing we need to do is have to deal with fucking tariffs. I mean, that's one of the reasons we want to get out of the European Union, is to get out of the tariffs.
Well, I have a feeling that as soon as the UK leaves the EU,
you gotta understand,
Trump's going to come over and say,
are...
hey, how's it going? Yeah, those tariffs, you don't need to worry about them anymore.
Yeah, but Trump is very specific about these things, and that's what people don't realize. All right. First of all, Canada, people don't. This is basically against two individuals, Canada and China. All right. If the European Union wants to play tag, Trump's not. Understand, but the main thing is to tell Canada stop blocking our exports, which they've been doing. Sorts of excuses, especially when it comes to agricultural goods. All right. Has been doing a number of different things. Now, China looks like they're playing ball, but Canada, on the other hand, thinks that he can roll Trump. He honestly thinks he can roll Trump.
Yes, he does. Trudeau thinks that he can deal with Trump. Trudeau's I'm sorry, but I've never seen anything brilliant from this guy. Ever.
Well, is it like a drama teacher?
A total soy boy,
right?
He's a fucking soy boy. I mean,
he's
the ultimate soy boy.
And there's a conservative way. Oh, I didn't. That was the article I should have saved up. They elected a new conservative. I don't know what it is, but if you're the head of a province of Ontario, like there seems to be a growing red wave, even though they don't have red and blue in Canada. But yeah, it looks like Canada is starting to move towards conservatism, and Canada is responding by breaking down on free speech more.
They have blue and purple, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it is blue and red. No, same. We have blue and red. The difference is that our blue is conservative and red is Labour.
Purple.
So it's the opposite.
But yeah, Canada's getting weird, and the people I know in Canada, the stories I get out from there are like, you're joking me, man. But yeah, you think nobody. Canada seems to have the silent, censorship. They're not nearly as blatant as the UK, where it's like, yep, and we're going to throw you into jail. No, they do it in Canada. They just do it like quieter with fines. They don't do jail time.
You must be joking me. No. Look at Tommy Robinson. I mean, there was a D notice applied. I mean, they shut down any kind of reporting.
Was that in Canada? They threw him in jail in Canada?
In Britain, Tommy Robinson.
No.
Was
Britain
thrown
is
into
hardcore,
prison, right? But they applied, yeah. But I mean, you're talking about silencing.
Britain is on its way to recreating V. Okay, the movie V. V for Vendetta.
It's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I know
Canada
the movie.
doesn't throw people in jail. They just fine the shit out of you. They cost you a lot of money. They don't put you in jail.
That's probably worse.
Oh yeah, it's worse in some ways. Especially
What?
that one comedian
Being fined is worse. Are you shitting me? When you're Tommy Robinson, you're being put into
well, Tommy. Okay, no, I'll give you Tommy Robinson. They trying to kill him.
Oh yeah.
But in Canada, like instead of being in jail for a couple of days or with a slap on
better than being fined.
What was that one comedian? It was 10 grand. He made some off-color jokes to some handicapped person, and he got $10,000 fine in Canada. I mean, seriously, that was effed up. Like, yeah, I understand they're trying to kill Tommy Robinson. He's gonna die in jail. I got that. But
I don't think he will. No, because in actual fact, one of the warlords, one of the law lords stood up and said if anything happens, then he was going to stand up and actually make a case against the government because it's premeditated.
Yeah, but then I'm going to make a case against the government until he gets arrested and thrown in jail and killed. So, seriously.
No, he was saying if anything happens to him, then he was going to take up the case, that he was willing to do it pro bono.
Who?
It's a law lord. It's Lord somebody. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but he'll be the next one to be thrown in jail and killed. So, I mean, that's the solution. Whenever anybody stands up,
no, that won't happen to him. No, he's a QC.
You think they can't kill a QC? I'm pretty sure they can kill it. They might need to make it look like an accident.
They could, but it's unlikely.
Well, we've had our senators killed before.
He's going to accidentally tie himself to a chair, shoot himself in the back of the head, and throw himself down an elevator shaft. The weirdest suicide
shot
ever.
Twice in the back of the head.
After he visits Clinton.
We are not America. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that won't happen. Yeah, no. Any rate.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody else wants to bring up?
No, I'm going to head off to bed.
Yeah, I got to actually get some work done, so we'll wrap it up
Put it
here,
in your
I guess.
Discord, dude. And I don't know how true it is because I got it off of Twitter. Has anybody heard anything like this with Aberdeen? Is this a real email? Read it to you. On September 3rd, 2016, 8:57 p.m., Huma Abedin at yahoo.com wrote, "Sorry for my late reply, Hassan. Yes, let me tell you about her. The woman is so odd, so starved for validation, so tormented and vain. It is a constant surprise to me anyone takes her seriously. Everyone on the team knows how unwell she is, but they're more determined than ever to see her win. This woman who has a dozen seizures a day, this godless, shrieking malcontent passed out in her medical van. This is a walking cadaver. She's non-functional, Hassan. Nobody cares. We sober her up for speeches and indulge the press corps with cheap sentiment. The first female president, the last glass ceiling, etc. They trip over themselves lining up behind her. Surely they know it's not her. They're getting it. It's the one in the corner, the quiet helper, your sister Huma. You asked me once how I did it. How did I take the castle? Hassan, I didn't take it. They gave it to me. Yes, there was a cost. I will admit, subjecting myself to men like A.W., Anthony Weiner, and WJC, William Jefferson Clinton, is mortal torture, but I do it gladly, brother. Everything they ask of me, however sick and depraved, I do it, and I smile, rejoicing at the thought whose glory I serve.
What the
Who
crap?
was this again?
Supposedly an email, all right, from Huma Abedin to one of her cohorts, Hassan, in the in the Muslim Brotherhood.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the crazy psycho march with the pussy hats, right? The one who murdered some gay people.
She's the advisor. She's been an advisor for Hillary. She's the closest advisor Hillary's had for days, or for years and years. She's Anthony Weiner's wife.
Right.
the crap?
Oh, well, you know, it's probably fake, but you know what? I'm probably not too. So, we'll see how it happens, but
Like that, I would like somebody. I mean, if I knew how to track that down. What was that?
That came out of some fucking script writer's closet. It's too
Possibly,
that's
but
why.
it
That's
looks
why.
nice.
That's why I said it's too perfect. It's the
But
problem.
fortunately, thanks to CNN, rumors don't need to be proven anymore. So let's run with this one. Yeah, Zuma is freaking working for Satan. That you heard it here first, folks. Because just like CNN, we don't need any verification.
Certain things. First of all, Huma does have some deep ties with the Muslim Brotherhood, including comments from her mother being one of their sponsors and everything
but
else.
that's exactly what they do, is guilt by association. That doesn't, it's the really cheapest fucking thing that you can do. It's oh, well, he potentially is connected to this or something is connected to that.
She's
and
married
then
to
they come
Anthony
up with a
Weiner.
fucking script. I mean, it's a fucking script. That's not even an email.
Oh, no, I don't need to guilt by association. She's married to Anthony Weiner, and she defended him and covered up for him, and the man was scum. Okay? She has the morality of a rock, as in she has none because it's an inanimate object. Anthony Weiner, dirtbag, and she protected this guy. All right? So it doesn't matter to me. That isn't guilt by association. That is guilt by who are you protecting? Okay, so if I defend a pedophile, you can feel free to get on my case, even though I don't sleep with children. All right? That's my case. You know, like, she defended Anthony Weiner. That guy was just dirtbag. Okay? And that isn't like, I know he never went to, like, court and tried, but Jesus Christ, what they found on his laptop.
He did go to court.
Oh, they did.
He
Oh,
got
I'm sorry.
convicted.
I forgot about that. Oh, sorry, missed that.
Oh yeah, he's been convicted. Now I don't know how much time he's serving, if any, but he did get convicted. So I mean, he is absolutely garbage. I mean, now whether or not this came from Huma or not, like I said, to me it just looks too perfect. But if something like that was real, especially considering who Huma Abedin is. Now, one of the biggest problems I have with Huma is she's one of the ones that the FBI gave immunity to before they even knew what she was responsible for, and she's deeply tied to these that email server and the classified emails. She was basically one of the couriers. In fact, she left classified emails, classified materials in a freaking cab one time. I had to go track it down.
What the?
Although I will say this, if she stood by Anthony Weiner just because of her religious conviction and her desire to destroy the United States of America for Allah, I have more respect for her now. Because if she stood by Anthony Weiner just because she was his wife, no. But, if she's doing it just because she believes in Allah, okay, you know what? You're still doing bad things, but I got a bit more respect for her before we put her before the firing squad. But you know what I'm saying.
Congratulations! We'll give you the blindfold when we put a bullet in your head. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. I have more respect for you, woman. That you are being deceptive as opposed to actually believing.
You'll get your final meal, and it won't be pork.
Yeah. See, that's it. You show her a little respect before the execution. That's what I'm saying.
Still wrap her in bacon and toss her in a hole.
Although it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, considering that she was in charge of the email thing, it wouldn't surprise me if she, made a copy and just dropped it off at the Muslim Brotherhood. You know, I'm sure they got a Dropbox somewhere.
I mean, I don't know if I obviously she's as dirty as freaking Hillary is, as far as what they did with the classified emails, and she's also deeply tied into the Clinton Foundation and basically selling American foreign policy to the highest bidder.
Well, there. Come on. I mean,
so she herself is not. Now, she's not her husband. Her husband is the next step, the next rung below, because he's everything she was, and he's a pedophile.
Yeah. But
I think did she get divorced from him? I don't know if she ever divorced him or not.
I don't know. Not sure. But here's my position on it. You want me to... I will say this, how they say the swamp isn't being drained. You want me to know the day that the swamp is being drained? When Hillary Clinton actually goes to court. Because this is... I mean, there's so much fucked up shit that you should be able to file a charge against her for something. Okay, but it's not going to happen. Everybody just accepts it. So...
Well, she withdrew her divorce.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. She was going to divorce him and then changed her mind. Huh. She's got to be working for, like, the Muslim Brotherhood, because I can't see her staying with this dirtbag any other way.
Anthony Weiner withdrew their divorce. This is on January 10th.
I think it's telling that she didn't change her last name to Huma Weiner.
Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin and her jailed sexaholic hubby Anthony Weiner have ended their pending divorce case.
Oh, it's too love.
Statements from their lawyers Wednesday cited the scandal-plagued couple's desire to protect their 6-year-old son by settling outside court. But experts say the real reason could be to shield one another from potential federal probe.
Probably. Anyway,
Exactly, because they can't testify against each other. They can't be called.
Oh, yeah, if they're married, you can't.
Husband.
You can't testify against your wife or husband.
So it's like we need to find a way to stay out of jail.
That makes perfect sense. I will stay married to you so you don't put me in jail. Holy crap. Suddenly this email's looking more and more legit. Any rate, anything else anybody wants to bring up?
I don't think that applies in every scenario.
I'm sorry, what?
Applies in every scenario. You know, this idea that you can't...
In U.S. law, you cannot be compelled to testify against your spouse.
Yeah. You and your spouse are considered, like, you can't testify against yourself.
There are no circumstances.
No,
you cannot, in U.S. law, you cannot be compelled to testify against your spouse.
Yeah, you can't.
Exceptions that came in with RICO cases and things.
No.
Because they needed the wives in order to convict the...
Oh, you can convince them to volunteer information, but you can't force them. And trust me, you could say, I'm going to take your child.
You can't.
I'm going to put your child in jail and he will be killed. Do you want to testify now? You know, stuff like that works.
Oh, okay. A little bit of social manipulation going on.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the problem with U.S. law is there's what's actually written down and then what actually happens, unfortunately.
Yep.
At any rate, anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap this up? Because it's 1:23, and I think that's a good time to call it quits.
23. It's 6:30 here.
No, it's not. It's 1:30. This is Eastern Standard Time. The entire world is Eastern Standard Time.
It's not a flat Earth, all right? It's 6:24 in England.
My
It's
condolences.
rising. You're having a wonderful day, aren't you?
Well, at any rate, it's been real and it's been fun. I think it's been kind of fun. Any last words or comments before we head out?
The Earth is square.
Did you ever see Time Cube? I don't think the website's still up, but Time Cube. Oh God, that was the ramblings. There are 4 simultaneous days. The Earth is a cube. It was great. Time Cube. That brings back memories. Any rate, let's wrap it up here on Time Cube. I hope everybody out there has a pleasant day, regardless of what time zone you're in. It's still 1:24, and have a nice day.
24 for me.
I don't care what you say.